Chapter 583, Preposterous 1. Yu Baisenvel. Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. Xiao Changtian walked around the island after breakfast. After not discovering the figure of the immortal De Yang, he also planned to go out for a walk. He wanted to see if he could find a suitable array master. Xiao Changtian slowly rowed his boat out of the island. He also saw the little goldfish and the black water dragon swimming on the lake. Not bad, much better than the old turtle and the others. Xiao Changtian looked at the lake and said slowly. Xiao Changtian quickly walked over when he saw the black clothes on the ground. He picked up the black clothes from the ground. There was still some warmth. Could it be that he had just taken it off? Xiao Changtian suddenly realized something. That streaking man couldn't be here again, right? Then, Xiao Changtian hurried towards the exit of the 100,000 Mountains. If this streaking man were to stick around here, the people here would not be able to explain it even if they had 10 mouths. Xiao Changtian was about to walk out when he saw the little goldfish swimming around the lake. All right, he'll bring you along. Then, Xiao Changtian took out a goldfish tank from his interspatial ring. He placed the little goldfish into the goldfish tank in his hand and walked out. At the same time, outside the 100,000 Mountains, Zuoluyun stood in the air with a huge abacus in his hand. The abacus kept emitting all kinds of different colors of light. Then, Zuoluyun changed his hand gesture and said slowly, "Moon reading array, devour the heavens and earth, fall into eternal life, rise." As soon as Zuoluyun finished speaking, dark gray lines appeared on the ground below. The lines intersected and connected, finally forming a huge hexagonal starlight. Following the formation of the array, the dark clouds in the sky surged in all directions, and a gentle breeze blew. After doing all this, Zuoluyun slowly looked in the direction of the 100,000 Mountains. The grand formation is completed. As long as you enter my formation, you will become my plaything no matter how powerful you are. Then, Zuoluyun seemed to sense something. With a series of hand gestures, the entire formation was hidden underground. Zuoluyun's figure also disappeared into the air. After a while, Xiao Changtian slowly walked out of the 100,000 Mountains. Where did this naked man run off to? Xiao Changtian held the black clothes in his hands and looked around. In a corner, Zuoluyun saw the black clothes in Xiao Changshan's hands. The veins on his face bulged. Provoke! Provoke! This was a blatant provocation. How could he not see that the black clothes in Xiao Changshan's hand were his disciple's clothes? He was still wondering why Xiao Changtian didn't see his disciple when he came out. These clothes appeared in Xiao Changshan's hands, which meant that his disciple had been killed by this person. His eyes scanned Xiao Changtian. No aura? Oh no, wait, calm down, calm down. This person definitely wanted to use his disciple's clothes to provoke him. This was definitely a diversion. He still had to wait until he walked into the moon reading array. At that time, he would be the master of everything. With that thought in mind, Zuoluyun clenched his fists and suppressed the urge to rush out. Soon they were about to enter. Wait, why did this person turn around and walk towards him? At this moment, Xiao Changtian was also checking the surroundings, his body slowly moving forward. No, could it be that this person had already discovered his location? Zuoluyun looked at Xiao Changtian, who was getting closer and closer to him. The vital essence in his body surged, ready to attack at any time. At this moment, Xiao Changshan's voice slowly entered his ears. Could it be that the naked man is playing hide-and-seek and hiding? Xiao Changtian looked at the black clothes in his hands and pondered. It was said that people with mental handicaps had a childlike innocence. Could it be that he deliberately threw the clothes into the 100,000 Mountains to attract her to look for him? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian shouted to the crowd, "Come out, I've already come looking for you." Zuoluyun was hiding in a corner. At this moment, his heart was already filled with anger. This was outrageous, outrageous. This person actually humiliated him like this. Although I like to do things between men and women, when have I ever run around naked? He actually called himself a streaking man. It was simply preposterous. Since he had been discovered, there was nothing more to say. Let's have a big battle. At this moment, Zuoluyun also looked in Xiao Changshan's direction. Xiao Changtian had already changed his direction and walked into his own formation. Good, you dare to provoke me like this. If I don't beat you until you wet your pants today, I won't be worthy of the title of first killing array master. As he spoke, Zuoluyun's hand gestures changed. A huge formation rose from the ground under Xiao Changshan's feet. When the array rose, dark clouds gathered in the sky. Following that, gusts of wind blew past. Today, I will show you what despair is. As soon as he finished speaking, an abacus appeared in Zuoluyun's hand. Zuoluyun gathered his vital essence and shouted, "Moon reading, great storm." As soon as Zuoluyun finished speaking, a gust of wind accompanied by a wind blade shot towards Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also felt a gust of strong wind coming towards him. With this strong wind, that naked man should have gone home. Xiao Changtian placed his clothes on the ground and planned to return to the island. Recently, the weather had changed so quickly. Perhaps some Xiaxianist was fighting nearby. As the saying goes, when immortals fight, mortals suffer. It was better for him to hurry back to the mountain to avoid unnecessary disasters. Xiao Changshan's words fell into Zuoluyun's ears. Preposterous, you actually look down on your own moon reading array and want to break it. How can I let you have your wish? Bush, bush, bush. Zuoluyun's hands kept moving across the surface of the abacus. Then, the formation under Xiao Changshan's feet started to move. A huge bolt of lightning appeared above Xiao Changtian. Boom, 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 whoosh. Xiao Changtian saw a flash of light in front of him and looked up. Wow, even lightning was here. It seemed like a storm was coming. He still felt that it was better to go back. It was not good to be drenched. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian quickened his pace. And now you know that you are going to flee. It's too late. Zuoluyun said slowly. Then, he directed the lightning in the sky to attack Xiao Changtian. Chapter 584. This person is very cunning. Beisenvel. Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains Boom. Boom, boom. Xiao Changtian listened to the thunder in the sky and saw the flashing lightning. He quickened his pace. Oof, you're actually so arrogant. You didn't even put up any defense in front of the heavenly devil lightning. Xiao Changtian didn't have any primeval essence surging in his body. He didn't even use a defensive immortal skill. Zuoluyun's face was also a little ferocious as he spoke slowly. This person actually looked down on him. In the air, a bolt of lightning also struck at Xiao Changtian. Go to hell! Xiao Changtian still didn't react and continued walking. Zuoluyun shouted again. The heavenly demonic lightning instantly arrived above Xiao Changshan's head. At this moment, a golden light flashed in the goldfish tank in Xiao Changshan's hand. Before the heavenly demonic lightning could hit Xiao Changtian, it disappeared in the air. What? Zuoluyun looked at Xiao Changtian, who was not injured at all, and the heavenly demonic lightning that had disappeared into thin air. His pupils dilated as he said in shock. Impossible, impossible. The moon reading array was his famous killing array. Over the years, who knew how many experts had fallen in it? Why did the heavenly demonic lightning strike Xiao Changshan's body as if it had never struck him? It must be a smokescreen. It must be like this. Zuoluyun suppressed the panic in his heart and shook his head. This person must be suppressing the injuries in his body to make me feel afraid. Only then can we escape into the mountains. After thinking it through, the corners of Zuoluyun's mouth curled up into a smile. How can it be so easy to escape? Let me break your camouflage. As he spoke, Zuoluyun took out a jade box from his interspatial ring. He slowly opened the jade box, and a spider slowly crawled out. As soon as the spider appeared, it bit Zuoluyun's arm and began to devour his flesh. I didn't plan to use this treasure at first, but you forced me to. Looking at the spider in his hand, Zuoluyun said slowly. He had spent a lot of money to buy this ice poison spider at an auction. He had originally planned to use it as a trump card when he encountered danger. As long as the poison of the ice poison spider seeped into the body, the true essence in the body would slowly freeze. Eventually, it spread to all the organs in his body and he died in pain. Go, my little darling. Zuoluyun watched as the ice poison spider absorbed almost the same amount of vital essence as his flesh and blood. He controlled it to crawl toward Xiao Changteng. Under Zhuo Liyun's control, the ice-poisoned spider quickly arrived beside Xiao Changtian. She climbed up his shoes to Xiao Changshen's neck. "Little darling, tear off his disguise for me." Zhuo Liyun's hand gestures changed when he saw the ice-poisoned spider crawling up to Changshen's neck. He began to control the poison spiders to release poison into Xiao Changshen's body. At this moment, Xiao Changtian, who was hurrying along, felt an itch on his neck. But Xiao Changtian slapped his own neck. Where did this spider come from? How annoying! Seeing the ice-poisoned spider on his palm, Xiao Changtian cursed. Then he threw the ice-poisoned spider on the ground and stepped on it a few times. Although they lived in the remote 100,000 mountains, there weren't many cultivators disturbing them. However, there was also a downside. There were all kinds of wild beasts and insects in the mountain. It was really impossible to guard against. Who knew when it would climb onto your body? Zhuo Liyun, who was hiding in a corner, was stunned. Now, he finally understood that Xiao Changtian didn't use any tricks. He had just relied on his own strength to withstand the attack of the heavenly demonic lightning. At this moment, Zhuo Liyun felt a chill run down his spine. Cold sweat kept dripping down his forehead. Ignoring the backlash from killing the icy poison spider, Zhuo Liyun also fled backward. He had always underestimated that person's strength. He still had to plan well to deal with him. Zhuo Liyun didn't hold back at all. He used all the vital essence in his body to dash into the distance. He stopped at a mountain peak, panting heavily. After making sure that Xiao Changtian didn't chase after him, he let out a sigh of relief. That's right. With that person's contempt for him, he wouldn't chase after him. At this moment, Zhuo Liyun felt that Xiao Changtian had underestimated him, which was a very happy thing. Not long after it stopped on the mountain peak, a golden light followed closely behind. Seeing this golden light, the nerves in the entire body of the left Liyun were extremely nervous. Who is it? Show yourself if you have the ability? Boom, boom, boom. A loud noise came from the sky above Zhuo Liyun. The ancestral dragon's figure was faintly discernible in the clouds. "You, that stupid dragon Xiao He, is right. You don't have the right to see me." In midair, the ancestral dragon's majestic voice slowly entered Zhuo Liyun's ears. Come out, come out." Hearing this voice, Zhuo Liyun's eyes kept scanning the surroundings. His heart was also extremely afraid. He realized that he had no way to sense the other party's location at all. "Since you dared to attack Master, you should have thought about your own fate." The ancestral dragon's voice sounded again. A golden palm print with monstrous providence slowly condensed in the air. The golden palm print formed and attacked him with a dragon's roar. At the same time, Xiao Changtian returned to the island in the 100,000 mountains. Looking at the goldfish tank in his hand, he slowly said, "Go back to your lake first." As he spoke, Xiao Changtian also placed the ancestral dragon back into the lake. On the mountain peak, Zhuo Liyun looked at the golden palm print in front of him. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and despair. The golden palm print came before Zhuo Liyun and turned into a golden starlight before dissipating. Zhuo Liyun slowly put down his hands that were covering his face. He didn't die? He quickly checked the condition of his body. Suddenly, Zhuo Liyun had a feeling that he was about to die. Then, as if he had thought of something, he also hit the huge rock beside him with his palm. Bastard, I was actually played by him. If that person could have used that attack just now, why would he let me go? So this is the real camouflage. This person is very cunning. As he spoke, Zhuo Liyun was also furious. Looking in the direction of the 100,000 mountains, his face was filled with unwillingness. After throwing a heavy punch, his body turned into a stream of light and fled into the distance. Chapter 585. Of course I'm using you guys for revenge Judith Beisenvel. Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains. The moment Xiao Changtian poured Zhu Long into the lake, Zhu Long looked at Xiao Changtian with resentment. He had almost killed that guy just now. Why did Master save his life? After Xiao Changtian placed the ancestral dragon into the lake, he could feel the resentment in his eyes. She also said to him in embarrassment, "Till bring you out next time." That's all for today. Judging from the weather, it was possible that there would be a storm. Xiao Changtian thought it was better for him to stay on the island. Ancestral Dragon swam to the bottom of the lake after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. It turned out that Master was planning to deal with him personally next time. At the same time, on the other side, after Zuoluyun left the divine realm, he once again came to the territory of the spiritual race. Who is it? After Zuoluyun's invasion, the spirit race had obviously strengthened their defenses under Leng Xiaoxiao's orders. Kill. The spiritual race disciple shouted at the black figure in midair. Get out of the way. The obstruction of the spiritual race disciples meant nothing to Zuoluyun. With a wave of his sleeve, a blade of spiritual light destroyed the defensive lines set up by the spiritual race disciples. Ah! On the spiritual race's icy mountain peak, the spiritual race disciples cried out in agony. Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei also walked out of the hall when they sensed the changes outside. Seeing the black shadow in the air, he said, Zuoluyun. Soon, Zuoluyun's figure landed in front of Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei. Zuoluyun, what are you doing here again? Leng Mei looked at Zuoluyun in front of her and said slowly to him, What are you here for? Of course, I'm here to use you to take revenge. As he spoke, Zuoluyun revealed a devilish smile. The abacus appeared in his hand, and streaks of rainbow light scattered across the entire spiritual race ice mountain. Then, a massive array enveloped the entire spiritual race ice mountain. Zuoluyun, what do you mean? Leng Xiaoxiao's face turned cold when she saw the array enveloping the spiritual race. Sister, this old man must be unable to defeat Senior and fled. There's no need to talk nonsense with him. Ice palm! Leng Mei shouted as she looked at Zuoluyun, who was in midair. Then, a huge icy palm print formed in the air and attacked Zuoluyun. Zuoluyun was furious when he heard Leng Mei say that he had fled. His hand gestures changed, and a gray greatsword formed in midair. Bang! The giant gray sword broke the giant ice palm and hit Leng Mei. When Leng Mei was hit by the gray greatsword, she also spat out a mouthful of blood on the ground. Then, Leng Mei felt a suction force descend on her body. Her body involuntarily fell into Zuoluyun's hands. What a wonderful person. Unfortunately, she's a little stubborn. What do you think the disciples will think if I punish them in front of them? After all, you know my hobby. As he spoke, Zuoluyun revealed a wretched smile. Then he suddenly changed the strength in his hands. Bang! Leng Mei's clothes shattered in midair. Zuoluyun, let go of my sister. In the air, a few ice swords condensed around Leng Xiaoxiao. Then, he tore through the sky and attacked Zuoluyun. Sensing Leng Xiaoxiao's attack, Zuoluyun threw the cold charm in his hand at her. Seeing that Leng Mei was about to collide with the ice sword, Leng Xiaoxiao quickly withdrew her immortal skill. He caught Leng Mei and looked at Zuoluyun coldly. Little sister, are you all right? Leng Mei also looked at Zuoluyun coldly and shook his head at Leng Xiaoxiao. Zuoluyun sensed their gazes and slowly said to them, It would be a pity to forcefully use such a good furnace. Because of his cultivation technique, if Zuoluyun forced Leng Mei and Leng Xiaoxiao to become his cultivation vessels, the effect of their cultivation would be greatly reduced, so Zuoluyun intended to make them despair. Take a good look at your feet and take care of your disciples. As for your senior, I will kill him in front of you. Thinking of Xiao Changtian, Zuoluyun was furious. Then, he waved his hand and a black shadow appeared beside Zuoluyun. Master! The moment the black shadow appeared, it bowed to Zuoluyun. He was Zuoluyun's fourth and last disciple. Zuoluyun had asked him to keep an eye on Leng Xiaoxiao and the others when they were on their way to the 100,000 mountains. Seeing this black shadow, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei's expressions became even colder. It turned out that they had always been under the surveillance. Ah! At this moment, a series of screams came from below again. Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei looked down. For some unknown reason, some spiritual race disciples died on the spot after letting out miserable cries. Zuoluyun, what did you do? At this moment, Leng Xiaoxiao looked at Zuoluyun, who was in midair, and a few ice spears appeared beside her. The The ice spear hit the formation, but it couldn't penetrate him. This is the soul-devouring array. It won't cause any damage to your bodies, but it can hurt your soul, making your soul feel like it's being bitten by thousands of insects. As he spoke, Zhuo handed a red invitation card to the black shadow beside him. This battle invitation belongs to the person you brought to the divine realm. Tell him to come here for a life and death duel. When the black shadow heard Zhuo words, he cupped his fists respectfully. Then, his figure disappeared into the air. Zhuo looked down at the two girls and smiled. You guys better pray that Senior will come and save you. If you want to surrender to me, I want refuse. Haha. At this moment, Zhuo burst into laughter. When he came to the spiritual race, he had already understood. In the 100,000 mountains, that person occupied his territory and used a smokescreen against him. It had blocked his heavenly demonic lightning, but it had not caused him any harm. Why this meant that the person's defense was slightly stronger, but his attack was not. But as long as he came to the spiritual race, he would lose the geographical advantage, and his soul-devouring array was a soul-devouring array. He wanted to see how he would resist him. The people in this world who could make fun of him had yet to make a move. Lung Xiaoxiao and Lung Mei looked at Zhuo in the air and felt a sharp pain in their souls. He then shouted at the spiritual race disciples below, "Everyone, don't be afraid. Gather your true essence to protect your souls." Chapter 586. If you don't care about martial virtue, I think your master isn't a good person. Zenvel. Siamikron M Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains. After receiving Zhuo order, the black shadow quickly arrived in the divine realm. Looking at the 100,000 mountains in front of him, the black shadow slowly walked in. At the same time, on the island, Xiao Changtian and the Great Sun Immortal were drinking tea and chatting at a wooden table. Perfected De Yang, do you know any formation masters who can set up formations? Xiao Changtian held a teacup in his hand and said slowly to the Great Sun Immortal opposite him. When the Great Sun Immortal heard Xiao Changshan's words, he was also stunned. There were many cultivators on the Tianyuan continent who cultivated various paths. However, there were none who were very powerful in the cultivation of array formations. With this thought in mind, the Great Sun Immortal said to Xiao Changtian slowly, "Senior, why don't you look for Miss Lung? Perhaps she has the answer you want." At this moment, the Great Sun Immortal also spoke his thoughts truthfully. Xiao Changtian nodded at him. Miss Leng was a local. Perhaps he had some information about the local array masters. Great Sun Immortal, thank you. Xiao Changtian got up and went to prepare. Carrying his bamboo basket, Xiao Changtian walked to the lakeside. I promised to take you out last time. Xiao Changtian placed Zhu Long in the goldfish tank and was about to get up. Complete the system mission as soon as possible and be invincible in the cultivation world. At this moment, the Black Shadow was also wandering in the 100,000 mountains. After casually dealing with the few fierce beasts in the valley, the Black Shadow revealed a cold smile. The people of the lower realm are really like ants. I don't know how you attracted Master's attention. As he spoke, the Black Shadow continued to move forward and arrived at a lake. The Black Shadow narrowed his eyes when he saw the boat approaching the lake. Then, Xiao Changtian came down from the boat. The moment he saw the Black Shadow, Xiao Changtian slowly said to him, "And you are?" The Black Shadow swept his gaze over Xiao Changtian, then slowly said to him, "Are you the owner of this island?" "The owner of the island? Is he still considered a prostitute?" As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian said to the Black Shadow, "Not exactly, but you can look for me if you need anything." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the Black Shadow looked at him with disdain. "Indeed, with your strength, it doesn't seem like it." Then, the Black Shadow took out a red invitation card from his pocket. After throwing it to Xiao Changtian, he said slowly, "Take this." Xiao Changtian took the red invitation card from the Black Shadow and saw the two words on it. Battle invitation. At this moment, the Black Shadow's voice slowly sounded. "My master has sent you a challenge. The spiritual race will fight on the ice mountain, regardless of life or death." Xiao Changtian was stunned when he heard the Black Shadow's words. Ever since he came to the cultivation world, he had never seen a battle invitation. It was said that when Xiaxianis fought, they wouldn't have such rules. They were all the kind that would do it the moment they met. Today, this guy came to send him a battle invitation. He was probably just a mortal. Could it be that he had taken a fancy to this 100,000 mountains like him? As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian slowly said to the Black Shadow, "Go back and tell your lord not to come. You're not my match." Although he was not a cultivator, his martial arts had been systematically trained. It was already at the great success realm. Among mortals, he could be considered to be able to fight. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the Black Shadow frowned. What an arrogant tone of a mortal. Let me teach him a lesson on behalf of Master. Then, his figure flashed and he appeared in front of Xiao Changtian, throwing a punch at him. The Black Shadow controlled the strength of this punch, although it would not kill Xiao Changtian. However, it could also cripple him. Today, he would show him who a mere mortal like the game could not afford to offend. Xiao Changtian smiled when he saw the Black Shadow's fist. He slowly raised his arm and held the Black Shadow's fist in his hand. What was that? The Black Shadow was shocked when he saw Xiao Changtian catching his fist. Then, Xiao Changtian pushed him and he fell to the ground with a bang. "I've already told you, but you still don't believe me." Xiao Changtian smiled at the Black Shadow. "With your martial arts, it's better to practice for a few years before coming back." While speaking, Xiao Changtian also intended to leave. He did not have that much time to spend on them. "You're courting death." The Black Shadow looked at Xiao Changshan's back as he left. His eyes were bloodshot. A mere mortal dared to humiliate him like this. Then he pulled out a short knife and attacked Xiao Changtian. "I'll let you have a taste of the god-slaying blade." This was his life weapon. This time, the Black Shadow did not hold back. The god-slaying blade was about to reach him. Xiao Changtian suddenly turned around and blocked it with 2 fingers. Looking at the Black Shadow on the ground, there was some anger on his face. If not for his martial arts, he might have died just now. Xiao Changtian walked to the Black Shadow's side and stepped on him. "You have to follow the rules when sparring. I don't think your master is a good person. I didn't want to go at first, but now I want to see who taught such a vicious disciple like you." The Black Shadow was stepped on by Xiao Changtian and wanted to resist. However, he found that his body was being pressed down by a huge force, and his cultivation base had been crushed by Xiao Changshan's foot. Looking at Xiao Changtian, the Black Shadow also had a ferocious look on his face. Then he fainted on the spot. At that moment, Jiang Beichen and Fu Tian, who had sensed the commotion, rushed over. Seeing the Black Shadow under Xiao Changshan's feet, Jiang Beichen and the others said to Xiao Changtian, "Master, what happened? This person didn't use martial virtue to send a battle invitation and even sneak attacked me." Seeing the Black Shadow, Xiao Changshan's anger didn't seem to dissipate. Then he casually threw the Godslayer onto the ground. The workmanship of this weapon was not good either. Jiang Beichen and the others were also furious after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. "Master, which faction is it? I'll go and destroy them." "That's right, Master. Who is it?" "Us senior and junior brothers will go and destroy him." Seeing Jiang Beichen and the others' indignant expressions, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at them. "Master can settle it himself." These disciples of his had never seen much fighting and killing. It would be bad if they saw blood. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Jiang Beichen and the others continued to persevere. "Master, let us go." "Yes, let us go." Chapter 587. Senior here. Under Skrelsenvel. Sumikronum's sacred spirit sky. Ice peak of the spirit race in the soul-devouring array. Lung Xiaoxiao looked at Lung Mei at the side with unconcealable worry on her face. "Little sister, how are you? Are you okay?" Lung Mei's face was a little pale at this moment. When he heard Lung Xiaoxiao's words, he also replied to her weakly. "Big sister, I'm fine. You should take a look at the other spiritual race disciples." Ever since they had been trapped in this soul-devouring array, the spiritual race disciples had fought to the death. However, because their cultivation levels were relatively high, they could still protect their souls from being damaged. However, the other spiritual race disciples were different. They were already in a sorry state. Some disciples who were slightly weaker had already fallen to the ground and were on the verge of death. Upon hearing Leng Mai's words, Leng Xiaoxiao looked around at the surrounding spiritual race disciples. At the same time, he didn't forget to transfer primeval essence to Leng Mei. Sister, what are you doing? You won't be able to hold on like this. Leng Mei felt true essence surging into his body and said slowly to Leng Xiaoxiao. When Leng Xiaoxiao heard Leng Mai's words, she also smiled at her. It's fine. Sister's cultivation is higher than yours, so she can still hold on for a while. At the same time, he looked at the suffering spiritual race disciples around him. Leng Xiaoxiao's true essence surged out of her body as she made a complicated gesture with her hands. Disciples of the spiritual race, don't be anxious. Prepare to receive my true essence. As soon as she finished speaking, true essence surged out of Leng Xiaoxiao's body. At the same time, it was injected into the bodies of the other spirit disciples. With Leng Xiaoxiao's help, the situation of the other spiritual race disciples improved. Patriarch. Seeing Leng Xiaoxiao's pale face, the other spiritual race disciples looked at her with tears in their eyes. In midair, Zhuo Luyun saw Leng Xiaoxiao's actions and did not stop her. You might not be able to protect yourself, but you're still worried about others. It's really ridiculous. Zhuo Luyun took a glance at her indifferently and continued to rest in the air with his eyes closed. Beside Leng Xiaoxiao, Leng Mei looked at her and tried to inject his true qi into her body. Little sister, what are you doing? You can't even hold on yourself. Sensing Leng Mai's actions, Leng Xiaoxiao shouted at her. Big sister, it's fine. Senior will be here soon. Hey! Hearing Leng Mai's words, Leng Xiaoxiao also sighed. Ever since this little sister of his went to the divine world, she had other thoughts. It was just that they had brought Senior troubles several times in a row. It was hard to say whether Senior would come or not. Hearing Leng Xiaoxiao's sigh, Leng Mei continued to speak to her. Big sister, don't worry. Senior is so powerful, defeating that old man won't be a problem. Hearing Leng Mai's words, Leng Xiaoxiao nodded at her. Little sister, I also believe that Senior can defeat Zhuo Luyun. However, if anything unexpected happens, sister. Before Leng Xiaoxiao could finish her words, she was interrupted by Leng Mei. Then, Leng Mei seemed to have seen something. She pointed ahead with a smile on her face. Sister, look over there. Senior is here, Senior is here. Hearing Leng Mai's joyful voice, Leng Xiaoxiao also looked in the direction of her fingertips. It's indeed Senior. Senior is here. Senior is here to save our spiritual race. Leng Xiaoxiao muttered to herself as she felt a sense of hope. Originally, she had planned to tell Leng Mei to escape if she couldn't hold on. Xiao Changshan's arrival at this time undoubtedly gave her endless hope. He had to repay Senior properly. At this moment, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen slowly appeared on the stairs of the ice mountain. When they heard that they were being attacked, they insisted on coming over to help. Xiao Changtian really couldn't persuade them, so he took a step back. Jiang Beichen represented the disciples to help Xiao Changtian. On Jiang Beichen's shoulder was a figure. Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen slowly arrived at the spiritual race's icy peak. Zhuo Luyun, who was in midair, slowly opened his eyes. You're finally here. This time, I'll make you pay back all the humiliation you've given me. As he said that, Zhuo Luyun's figure flashed and he slowly landed on the ice peak. She looked at the two figures that were gradually becoming clearer, and then she saw the black shadow on Jiang Beichen's shoulder. Damn it! Zhuo Luyun clenched his fists tightly as a wave of anger surged in his heart. This person had actually killed his last disciple. Unforgivable, unforgivable. Zhuo Luyun exhaled slowly. He did not rush up to fight Xiao Changtian. As long as he entered the soul-devouring array, he would slowly torture him. When Xiao Changtian stepped onto the mountain peak, he saw Leng Xiaoxiao and the others trapped in the soul-devouring array. Isn't that Miss Leng? Why are you here? Xiao Changtian saw Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei and waved at them. Originally, he was also going to look for them. Now, it seemed that his trip was killing two birds with one stone. In the formation, Leng Mei saw Xiao Changtian waving at them and a smile flashed across her face. Senior, this is the soul-devouring formation. Be careful. Humph. Zuoluyun saw Leng Mei shouting at Xiao Changtian and sneered. His hand gestures changed, and the array isolated all sounds. Leng Mei's voice couldn't be heard at all. At the same time, he increased the speed of the soul-devouring array. At that moment, Leng Xiaoxiao and the others felt an even stronger force stimulating their souls. Outside the formation, Xiao Changtian could only see Leng Mei's hands and feet dancing. However, he did not hear what she said. Forget it, I'll just walk over and talk to them. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian brought Jiang Beichen directly to the soul-devouring formation. Senior, be careful. There's a formation. Leng Mei saw that Xiao Changtian didn't respond to her reminder and continued to shout. Little sister, it's useless. Zuoluyun has already isolated our voices. At this moment, Leng Xiaoxiao also sensed that something was wrong and said to Leng Mei. After hearing Leng Xiaoxiao's words, Leng Mei also became somewhat anxious. If Xiao Changtian was trapped after entering the array, it would be difficult to break the array. After all, breaking the formation outside was definitely easier than breaking it inside. Come on, this seat will definitely make your soul fly and smoke out this time. Seeing Xiao Changtian getting closer and closer to the soul-devouring formation, Zuoluyun smiled. It seemed that his guess was right. Even his array formation could not be seen. This person's previous attack on him was a bluff. Then, Xiao Changtian slowly entered the soul-devouring formation. Chapter 588. Nothing is impossible. Isenvel. Sumikronim's Sacred Spirit Sky. Ice Peak of the Spirit Race. Zuoluyun watched as Xiao Changtian slowly walked into the soul-devouring formation. The smile on his face gradually became wider, and his hand gestures kept changing. Die. Bush, bush, bush. Under Zuoluyun's control, the soul-devouring formation continued to erode Xiao Changtian. When Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei, who were in the grand array, saw this scene, their hearts also jumped to their throats. They could feel that the magic power of the array that was acting on them had completely disappeared. Without a doubt, they were all heading towards Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Xiao Changtian didn't have any defense set up on his body. However, in their eyes, Xiao Changtian walked towards them as if nothing had happened. Miss Leng, we meet again. Xiao Changtian smiled at Leng Xiaoxiao and the others. At this moment, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei were also somewhat unable to react. This senior ignored the soul-devouring array. They knew that Xiao Changtian was powerful, but they never thought that he could ignore the soul-devouring formation. After all, the torture they had suffered here was real. At this time, Leng Mei suddenly had some tears in her eyes, and her figure suddenly pounced towards Xiao Changtian. His entire body was hanging on Xiao Changtian. Senior, you're finally here. Xiao Changtian felt the beauty on his body and smelled the fragrance on Leng Mei's body. At this moment, he was slightly shocked and did not react. Miss Leng, you don't have to be so polite. Xiao Changtian patted Leng Mei's back and said slowly. Jiang Beichen seemed to have realized something. Master, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Jiang Beichen turned around as he spoke. He finally understood why Xiao Changtian didn't let them follow him. So this was the reason. Xiao Changtian looked at Jiang Beichen, who had his back to him, and glared at her. Miss Leng, why don't you come down first? When Leng Mei heard Xiao Changtian's words, he realized that he had lost his composure. She quickly got down from Xiao Changtian, her face slightly red. Senior, we've been trapped here for a long time, so, at this moment, Leng Mei also wanted to explain. Trapped here for a long time? Xiao Changtian was stunned when he heard Leng Mei's words. There was no pit or dangerous place here. How could he be trapped here? However, he saw the dirty clothes on Leng Mei and Leng Xiaoxiao. Xiao Changtian also knew that they weren't playing with him. At this moment, Zuoluyun was also changing his hand gestures. Impossible, impossible. Seeing that Xiao Changtian was unharmed in the soul-devouring formation, Zuoluyun was exasperated. Then he pointed at Xiao Changtian and said slowly, It's you. You killed my disciple. Do you dare to fight? Zuoluyun's words also attracted Xiao Changshan's attention. When Leng Mei heard Xiao Changshan's words, he also reported to Xiao Changtian. Senior, this is the guy who trapped us here and threatened us to deal with you. Hearing Leng Mei's words, Xiao Changshan's eyes narrowed. So this was what being trapped meant. This old man was probably the one who had sent him a battle invitation. He had thought that it was just a disciple who was a little vicious. He did not expect it to be passed down. This old man was probably afraid that he would not accept the challenge and used Miss Leng and the others to threaten him. Miss Leng and the others were just a few weak women. How could they be a match for these old men who knew martial arts? As he thought about this, Xiao Changshan's face turned cold. Beichen. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Jiang Beichen immediately walked over. Master. Xiao Changtian looked at Jiang Beichen beside him and directly lifted the black shadow from his hand. He threw it at Zuoluyun. This is your disciple, right? His strength isn't that great, so he's already been taken care of by me. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Zuoluyun took the black shadow that Xiao Changtian threw over. After a quick check, he looked at Xiao Changtian with anger in his eyes. The black shadow's cultivation had been crippled. His only remaining disciple had also become a cripple. Go to hell! After shouting at Xiao Changtian, Zuoluyun also charged at Xiao Changtian. Today, I will break your turtle shell. Seeing Zuoluyun coming towards him, Xiao Changtian sneered. He dodged to the side and dodged Zuoluyun's fatal punch. Then he casually grabbed Zuoluyun's arm and raised his left foot. He kicked Zuoluyun's abdomen. Zuoluyun spat out a mouthful of blood after being kicked by Xiao Changtian. Impossible! That's impossible! Zuoluyun felt a sharp pain in his abdomen. His eyes widened as he spoke slowly. Nothing is impossible. Xiao Changtian looked at Zuoluyun and kicked him as well. Bang! When Xiao Changshan's foot landed, Zuoluyun's cultivation base was completely dispersed. Xiao Changshan's cold voice rang in his ears. Zuoluyun glared at Xiao Changtian. Pointing at him, she slowly said, "You, whoosh." Then, his entire arm slowly fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and he died with a grievance. Xiao Changtian didn't show any mercy in that kick. Looking at Zuoluyun who was lying on the ground, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei slowly walked over. Senior, this person, Beichen, deal with it. Xiao Changtian said to Jiang Beichen. Then he smiled at Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei. Leave this to Beichen. Miss Leng, are you all right? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Leng Mei and Leng Xiaoxiao also shook their heads at him. Then Leng Mei said to Xiao Chang'an, Senior, why don't we talk inside? Hearing Leng Mei's words, Xiao Changtian finally noticed the palace in front of him. This was the first time he had seen Miss Leng's residence. Looking at this palace, it was like Jiu heirs. They were both from wealthy families. Thinking so, Xiao Changtian followed Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei into the palace. After entering the palace, Leng Mei also staggered. Little sister, Miss Leng, are you all right? Leng Xiaoxiao and Xiao Changtian said at the same time. It seemed that Leng Mei had been badly injured in the soul-devouring formation. Xiao Changtian slowly grabbed Leng Mei's arm and examined it. It's nothing. I'm just a little weak. I'll just mix some medicine and drink it. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Leng Xiaoxiao nodded gratefully. After receiving a prescription from Xiao Changtian, he immediately arranged for the servants to cook it. Chapter 589. We will listen to Senior Visenvel. Siamikronim's Sacred Spirit Sky, Spirit Race's Ice Peak Palace. Not long after Leng Xiaoxiao gave the order, a maid came up with 2 bowls of Chinese medicine soup. Leng Xiaoxiao took a bowl from the jade plate and was about to feed it to Leng Mei. Miss Leng, wait a moment. One Xiao Changtian stopped Leng Xiaoxiao and took out a few wolfberries from his interspatial ring. Adding this in will have an effect. She slowly placed the wolfberries into the bowl before feeding it to Leng Mei. Miss Leng, you should drink some too. Xiao Changtian saw Leng Xiaoxiao's expression and reminded her. It seemed that the old fellow from before was really vicious to Miss Leng. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Leng Xiaoxiao also took a bowl from her maid and slowly drank it. As soon as the potion entered her stomach, Leng Xiaoxiao felt a pure power repairing her damaged soul. The injuries he had suffered from the soul-devouring array had also mostly recovered. At this time, Leng Mei also slowly woke up. They stood up slowly and looked at Xiao Changtian with respect. Then, the two of them said to Xiao Changtian gratefully, "Thank you for your kindness, senior. The spiritual race has nothing to repay you for." Hearing Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei's words, Xiao Changtian hurriedly helped them up. "It's nothing. Miss Leng, you don't have to be so polite." At the same time, Xiao Changtian sighed in his heart. Speaking of which, he was also responsible for Miss Leng and the others' misfortune. After all, that old man also wanted to deal with him. Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei's eyes were filled with gratitude when Xiao Changtian helped them up. "How about this? Why don't you guys move to the island? That way, you can take care of each other." Xiao Changshen's voice slowly entered the two girls' ears. Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with a strange light. It was the spiritual race's fortune to be able to meet senior. Xiao Changtian felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by the two girls. "Miss Leng, what do you think?" "We listened to the senior's call, although the divine realm's spiritual energy was not as dense as the saint spirit skies. It was still a little too weak. But if they followed senior, their spiritual race would definitely have a bright future." At this moment, Jiang Beichen walked in from outside. "Master!" Seeing Jiang Beichen's arrival, Xiao Changtian also thought of something. "Miss Leng, I wonder if you know where an array master is?" Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei were stunned. Senior is looking for an array master? Most array masters were in the myriad array sky. However, Zhuo Luyun, who had just been killed by Senior, had a high status in Wanjin sky. With the current situation, it was already fortunate that Wan Zhentian did not make things difficult for them. "Senior, we know, but that might be a little troublesome." Leng Xiaoxiao hesitated for a moment and told Xiao Changtian the truth. "It's okay, Miss Leng. Beichen and I will go and look for her." Xiao Changtian also knew what Leng Xiaoxiao and the others were worried about. They had just escaped from the calamity. It would be a little difficult for them to go out and look for it. Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Leng Xiaoxiao did not hesitate anymore and ran her fingers through her hair. He took out a map from his interspatial ring. "Senior, this is where formation masters gather." Leng Xiaoxiao pointed at the place marked on the map and said to Xiao Changtian, "Yes, thank you, Miss Leng." Xiao Changtian took the map from Leng Xiaoxiao's hands and said to her with a smile. Leng Mei saw Xiao Changtian put the map into his interspatial ring and was ready to set off. He said, "Senior, why don't I take you there?" "No need. Your body hasn't fully recovered yet. You still need to rest more. Beichen and I can go over." Xiao Changtian glanced at Jiang Beichen as he spoke. "Yes, Miss Leng, Master and I can handle it. Don't you trust Master?" Sensing Xiao Changshen's words, Jiang Beichen walked out and smiled at Leng Mei and Leng Xiaoxiao. "All right then." Hearing Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen's words, Leng Mei also stuck out her tongue. Then, under Leng Xiaoxiao's cold and charming farewell, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen slowly walked towards Wanjintian. Looking at Xiao Changshen's back view, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei were a little lost in thought. That stalwart back was so tall and handsome. After leaving the Saint Spirit Sky, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen arrived at the 10,000 array sky with the help of the chaos ants. Looking at the red glow in the sky, Xiao Changtian narrowed his eyes. Because in the red clouds, there was a faint shadow of an ancient tomb. Wow, could it be that there were opportunities for those immortal cultivators here as soon as he arrived? At this moment, Xiao Changtian suddenly remembered what Leng Xiaoxiao and the others meant by trouble. So this was the trouble. To mortals like them, if a group of immortal cultivators were to compete for opportunities here, they would be able to survive. He and Jiang Beichen would probably die here. "Beichen, after we enter the town, we have to keep a low profile and not cause trouble, understand?" Although Jiang Beichen had been performing well, Xiao Changtian still reminded him. After all, this was a critical period. "All right, Master." Jiang Beichen helped Xiao Changtian carry the bamboo basket and responded. After entering the town, Xiao Changtian sat down at a tea stall. As a newcomer, These stalls were the best places to gather information. After Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen sat down, a waiter came over with a teapot. "Customer, what do you want?" "Iron Long Jing, a pot of consort," Xiao Changtian said slowly. "All right." At this moment, at the table next to Xiao Changtian, a few burly men with bare arms slowly gathered together. "You guys are all here for this immortal emperor's tomb, right? Why don't we form a team and explore it?" "Sigh, with our strength, so what if we form a team? Haven't you heard? The Array sect attached great importance to this ancient tomb. It said that the current sect master of the Array sect, Zhuo Yuan, personally went out for the sake of the few finest grade immortal artifacts inside. Even Zhuo Yuan has stepped out? It seems that we have no hope. Isn't that so? Not only Zhuo Yuan, it is said that many people from the other heaven realms have also arrived. I think we should just go and join in the fun." Xiao Changtian sat beside them and naturally heard their conversation. Through their conversation, Xiao Changtian came to two conclusions. Firstly, there were many cultivators here. Secondly, the cultivation here was very strong. Therefore, if he and Jiang Beichen didn't want to die, they had to find a place to stay. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. After drinking the tea, Xiao Changtian left with Jiang Beichen. Chapter 590. Really Live and Learn. Zinville. Sinacron Wanjinton, "Sir, the guest rooms in this restaurant are full. Why don't you go to other houses to take a look?" The waiter in Yijiain said to Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen with a smile. When Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen heard the waiter's words, they smiled bitterly. After leaving the tea stall, Xiao Changtian took Jiang Beichen to ask around. He didn't expect this town to be so short of housing. The guest rooms in the few inns were all full. Seeing Xiao Changshan's bitter smile, Jiang Beichen said to the waiter, "Waiter, are there really no more rooms?" Seeing Jiang Beichen's fierce expression, the waiter was also shocked. The people who came to the town these few days were either rich or noble. It was said that a few days ago in another inn, a waiter had offended a cultivator. In the end, his legs were broken, and he could only lie at home for the rest of his life. "Beichen, forget it. They'll go to other houses to take a look," Xiao Changtian said slowly to Jiang Beichen. The influence that the ancient tomb brought to the town was beyond Xiao Changshan's imagination. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the waiter touched his chest and exhaled slowly. "Sir, there is actually another place that you can try. There might be a place to stay." Xiao Changtian, who was disappointed, heard the waiter's words, and his eyes lit up. "Oh, where is it?" At this time, the waiter also brought Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen to the entrance. Pointing at the path in front of him, he said to Xiao Changtian slowly, "Go straight from here, then turn left. After walking for a while, there's a large courtyard. There is a rental notice on it, but the owner is a little strange." "No charge?" Jiang Beichen asked doubtfully when he heard the waiter's words. "Yes, that's an old man with a strange temper. If you're in a hurry to move in, you can try your luck at his place." At this moment, the waiter explained. As a waiter in an inn, he only knew this much. Xiao Changtian thanked the waiter. Then, he brought Jiang Beichen to a house according to the route. Notice for rent. Anyone who can answer this old man's questions can stay in this shop for 3 nights for free. Seeing the notice on the wall of the mansion, Xiao Changtian slowly read out. At the same time, Jiang Beichen had also walked to the front door of the residence. Bang, bang, bang. With a knock on the door, an old man in a yellow Taoist robe slowly walked out. After casually glancing at Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen, the old man walked inside. "Come in." Hearing the old man's words, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen followed the old man to the courtyard. At this moment, the old man brought over 2 chairs from somewhere. "Sit." The 3 of them sat at a table. The old man said to Xiao Changtian slowly, "Where did the 2 of you come from?" "My disciple and I came here to find an array master." Xiao Changtian sat on the chair and smiled at the old man. It seemed that this old man was quite approachable. The old man's eyelids twitched when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. "Then what kind of treasures do you have to prepare? You have to know that it's not easy to hire an array master." It's nothing. It's just food and accommodation. Xiao Changtian told the truth. After all, there were all kinds of expenses on the island. He did not have the extra money to hire an array master. Haha. The old man laughed when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Food and accommodation included. This person was quite interesting. The old man had let Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen in because he couldn't see through their auras. He could sense that Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen didn't have any aura. But as the saying goes, the unknown was the scariest. What's so funny? Can we stay here? Xiao Changtian asked the old man when he saw him smile. When the old man heard Xiao Changshan's words, he shook his head and made a one gesture to Xiao Changtian. Answer this old man's question. What do the two of you think of the immortal emperor's tomb? Hearing about the ancient tomb, Xiao Changtian smiled at the old man and said, that kind of opportunity, we can just watch the show. When we have nothing to do, we can also treat it as a topic of conversation. The old man was stunned when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Why don't you two go to that ancient tomb to investigate? Hearing the old man's words, Xiao Changtian also looked at the old man in surprise. Forget it. Aren't people like us going to die? This group of cultivators was fighting for opportunities there, while the few mortals here went. If he wasn't going to die, then what was he going to do? Moreover, he was facing an old man. Xiao Changshan's words made the old man frown. Do you think this old man will die if I go? Xiao Changtian looked at the old man and nodded. Of course. It would be strange if an old man like you didn't die in an ancient tomb of a cultivator. Then, Xiao Changtian took out a small notebook from his pocket. Old man, if you're interested in cultivation, you can take this over to take a look. The old man took the book from Xiao Changshan's hand and saw the words. Complete understanding of formations. Then, after flipping it open, his entire person was attracted by it. The hand holding the book was trembling. He said to Xiao Changtian with a trembling mouth, This? Where did you get this book? I wrote this book. If you like it, you can take it. Can we stay here now? In order to avoid trouble, Xiao Changtian wrote the entire explanation of the formation himself. The old man was excited when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Of course, of course. The array formation in this book was definitely the strongest he had ever seen in his life. Xiao Changtian ignored the old man when he saw the old man enjoying the whole array. Then, she brought Jiang Beichen inside. He didn't expect this old man to be so interested in a book that was similar to a complete explanation of teaching materials. It was really a life and death lesson. At the same time, a group of figures slowly appeared in the air above the town. The figure in the middle of the crowd was dressed in white and Taoist robes. He held an exquisite abacus in his hand. This person was Zhuo Shuyuan. Behind him were the other elders and disciples of the array sect. Obviously, Zhuo Shuyuan had prepared a lot for this trip to the immortal emperor's tomb. When Zhuo Shuyuan appeared, there were also different teams coming from different directions in the town. Chapter 591. Zulian's Invitation. Thisenville. Semicronim 10,000 array sky, above the town. A few squads slowly appeared above the town. On the east side of the town, the leader was a woman in red. The woman had snow-white skin and a slender figure. One look and one could tell that she was the best in the world. The old man behind her, judging from the aura he exuded, was definitely an expert. On the other side of the town, a man slowly appeared with a team. The man held a feather fan in his hand and had a warm smile on his face. The people behind him also revealed a strong aura. Zhuo Shuyuan looked at the two groups and smiled at them. I didn't expect that Treasure Pill Heaven would also come to my Myriad Array Heaven to search for treasures. Hearing Zhuo Shuyuan, the red-clothed woman covered her mouth and chuckled. When her body shook, the large white rabbit in front of her also shook violently. Of course, this opportunity belongs to the capable. Do you still want to chase him out? As she spoke, the red-clothed woman looked at Zhuo Shuyuan with an extremely resentful gaze. While the red-clothed lady was speaking, the jade-faced man on the other side also slowly said, We naturally welcome the Purple Pill sect to our Myriad Array sky. My White Jade sect has long sought advice. Okay, big sister will wait for you. While the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man were talking, an elder of the array sect also came to Zhuoziyuan's side. Sect master, what should we do? Ignore them for now. Third brother, come with me. The rest of you, wait at the entrance of the ancient tomb. As Zhuoziyuan finished speaking, the other array sect elders also nodded. Then, Zhuoziyuan said to the woman in red and the jade-faced man, everyone, the immortal emperor's ancient tomb is about to open. The opportunities inside will depend on your own abilities. I'll take my leave first. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhuoziyuan turned into a streak of light and disappeared into the sky. Xiao Changshan's residence in the air, 2 streams of light streaked past, revealing 2 figures. They were Zhuoziyuan and the array sect's third elder. When Zhuoziyuan and the array sect's third elder appeared, the old man also appeared in the mansion. Zhuoziyuan landed on the ground and slowly said to the old man, Lin Changfeng, a straightforward person won't beat around the bush. You know our purpose for coming here this time. Why don't we go explore the immortal emperor's tomb together? Lin Changfeng did not respond to Zhuoziyuan's words. He slowly walked to the table. He poured a cup of tea and tasted it. Lin Changfeng's actions seemed to be somewhat out of Zhuoziyuan's expectations. Lin Changfeng, the top-grade immortal weapon in the immortal emperor's tomb should be very important to you, right? You must know that back then. Enough! Before Zhuoziyuan could finish speaking, he saw Lin Changfeng slam the teacup in his hand onto the table. Don't mention that. You guys can go back. I'm not going to the ancient tomb this time. Then Lin Changfeng directly ordered Zhuoziyuan and the others to leave. Not going? Lin Changfeng, the sect master invited you because he gave you face. Don't be so shameless. At this moment, the third elder of the array sect pointed at Lin Changfeng and shouted angrily. The array sect's third elder was about to continue speaking when Zhuoziyuan stretched out his hand to stop him. The true essence in his hand flashed, and an array formation rose up in the house. Brother Eternal Wind, please. Lin Changfeng looked at the array in the house and a smile flashed across his face. He casually spilled the tea in the teacup to the side. The array that Zhuoziyuan had created had been destroyed by him at will. Please go back. At this moment, Lin Changfeng stood up from his chair and ordered him to leave again. Zhuoziyuan was also shocked when he saw Lin Changfeng casually break his array formation. When Lin Changfeng competed with him in array formations, it was not so easy. Could it be that he had a breakthrough in a short period of time? Zhuoziyuan's eyes flickered as he cupped his fists at Lin Changfeng. Since that's the case, the opportunity to become an immortal emperor is not fated with Brother Changfeng. Although Zhuoziyuan still had an even more powerful formation that he had yet to use. However, judging from the strength that Lin Changfeng had just displayed, it was obvious that he was a powerful man. If he did not pay a price, he would not be able to beat him into submission. Thinking about the possible competition in the ancient tomb, Zhuoziyuan chose not to continue fighting. After turning around and taking a few steps, Zhuoziyuan suddenly said to Lin Changfeng, although your attainments in array formations have improved again, you still have a lot of time left. But this time in the ancient tomb, as long as the two of us work together, we'll have more confidence. With a top-grade immortal weapon, it will be much easier for you to do things in the future. Lin Changfeng responded slowly after hearing Zhuoziyuan's words. Thank you for your good intentions, Sect Master Zhua. However, I'm not fated to go to the ancient tomb this time. By the way, I would like to give sect leaders a piece of advice. It's best that you don't go to the ancient tomb this time. Lin Changfeng's improvement in formation skills was due to the complete understanding of formations given to him by Xiao Changtian. Lin Changfeng's comprehension had deepened over the past few days. The understanding of array formations inside was something that he had not touched upon. With it, what kind of opportunity in the ancient tomb did it matter to him? A book from a senior was comparable to an entire ancient tomb. However, out of respect for Xiao Changtian, Lin Changfeng did not reveal his existence. Zhuoziyuan felt that Lin Changfeng had a hidden meaning in his words, but he did not know what it was exactly. At this moment, he frowned. When the array sect's third elder heard Lin Changfeng's words, he shouted at Lin Changfeng, "You're afraid of death and don't dare to go. Don't scare people here. Our array sect will gladly accept the opportunities in the ancient tomb. As soon as the array sect's third elder finished speaking, Zhuo Luyan brought him and flew towards the ancient tomb. Lin Changfeng looked in the direction that the array sect's third elder and Zhuo Shiyuan left and shook his head. He could only say that. Then, he sat down at the table beside him and began to read the complete solution to the array formation. At the same time, Xiao Changtian walked out of the room with Jiang Beichen. Seeing Xiao Changtian about to leave, Lin Changfeng greeted him. "Senior, are you going out?" Seeing Lin Changfeng holding the array and laughing, Xiao Changtian said to him slowly, "Yeah, I went out for a walk to find an array master." After resting for a few days at the old man's place, Xiao Changtian also knew that those Xiaxianists were going to enter that ancient tomb today. Since those Xiaxianists weren't around, it was a good opportunity for him to find an array master. After all, those powerful array masters had nothing to do with him because he could not afford to hire them at all. Those weaker array masters would definitely not go in and die. At this time, they might be able to pick up a loophole. After Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen left the courtyard, Lin Changfeng sighed. It seemed that his cultivation was not enough to catch the senior's eye. He still had to learn more. With that thought in mind, Lin Changfeng held the complete solution of the array formation and looked at it more seriously. Chapter 592, Opening of the Ancient Tomb Zenvel. Semicronim on the street in the sky of 10,000 arrays. Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen were walking on the streets of the town, looking at the increasingly dazzling red clouds in the sky. It seemed that the immortal cultivator's opportunity had opened. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian brought Jiang Beichen to a forest. It was said that there were many old cultivators in the deep mountains and forests. As long as you were lucky enough, they might even give you an opportunity. Xiao Changtian also brought Jiang Beichen into the mountain to see if he could get an array master for free. Meanwhile, outside the ancient tomb, Zhuo Shiyuan and the array sect's elder stood in the air beside him. The red-robed woman led Bao Dan Heaven's team and the jade-faced man led the white jade sect's disciples. "Everyone, this ancient tomb is about to open. Who is interested in exploring it first?" At this time, Zhuo Shiyuan also slowly said to the other two teams, "Since this ancient tomb is open, does sect leaders will have any way to enter? Don't tell me sect masters will want a weak girl like me to scout the way for you." At this time, the red-clothed woman also looked at Zhuo Shiyuan and let out a pleasant laugh. "Let's see where this tomb ends up." At this moment, the jade-faced man stood up and said slowly. As he spoke, the ancient tomb slowly moved in the air. Finally, it landed on a mountain peak. Soon, all the women in red, all the men in blue, all the men in red, all the people in blue, all the people in blue, all the people in red, 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 all the mountains. Looking at the ancient tomb in front of them, all the cultivators present felt pity for him. The jade-faced man looked at the ancient tomb in front of him and took the lead to walk out. Waving the feather fan in his hand, he launched a series of attacks on the stone door of the ancient tomb. Bush, bush, bush. As the jade-faced man waved his hands, a few wind blades tore through the sky and struck the stone door. As the jade-faced man's attack landed, everyone's gaze also turned to the stone door. After the dust settled, the stone door was actually intact. "How is that possible?" the jade-faced man exclaimed in disbelief when he saw that the stone door was undamaged. His cultivation base had also reached the immortal king realm. Although he did not use his full strength just now, it was not to the extent that he did not even break a stone door. "Let me try." At this time, the array sect's third elder who was besides Zhuo Shiyuan also stood out. The true essence in his hand surged, and a huge flame array appeared in the air. 10,000 flames rushing attack. The array sect's third elder shouted. Following that, the large arrays spat out a long flame dragon. A few flaming dragons intertwined together and then attacked the stone door. Bang! When the flaming dragon crashed into the stone door, it only left a trace of charcoal on the stone door. Seeing that the attack of the array sect's third elder was ineffective, everyone was once again shocked. As expected of an ancient tomb left behind by an immortal emperor. After being attacked twice in a row, it was actually not damaged at all. At this time, Zhuo Xiaoyuan also slowly said, "Everyone, in my opinion, this stone door probably can't be broken through by external forces. There should be some kind of formation mechanism." Not long after Zhuo Xiaoyuan finished speaking, the woman in red smiled at him and said, "Since you want to break the formation, I will have to trouble sect Master Zhuo." Zhuo Xiaoyuan seemed to have anticipated that the woman in red would say this and waved his sleeve. "It's not impossible for our array sect to break the array. You have to pay a price. After all, we can't let the array sect bear all the risks." As he spoke, Zhuo Xiaoyuan also looked at the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man. The red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man looked at each other when they heard Zhuo Xiaoyuan's words. "I wonder what kind of financial aid sect Master Zhuo wants?" Hearing the woman in red's words, Zhuo Xiaoyuan also made a two gesture. "Each of you will send out a powerful person to be my formation core. Of course, my array sect will also send out an elder." Hearing Zhuo Xiaoyuan's words, the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man pondered for a moment. Then he said to Zhuo Xiaoyuan, "All right, we will listen to sect leader Zhuo." After obtaining the agreement of both parties, Zhuo Xiaoyuan's body also lit up. As he muttered, a huge array formation formed in front of the stone door. "Everyone, please stand on the formation core. I will activate the formation later." It resonates with the formation on the stone door. "Everyone, open the stone door according to your feelings." Upon hearing Zhuo Xiaoyuan's words, an old man walked out from the array faction, the red-clothed woman, and the jade-faced man. They stood at the positions designated by Zhuo Xiaoyuan. Zhuo Xiaoyuan started to operate the array. Everyone also saw the embryonic form of an array slowly appear on the stone door. In the end, more and more lines appeared on the stone door, echoing with the array that Zhuo Xiaoyuan had cast. The formation emitted a dazzling light. Then, Zhuo Xiaoyuan slowly said to the three people at the eye of the array, "Everyone, wait for the right moment. You are also at the center of the formation above the stone door. Find the right time to destroy them." Upon hearing Zhuo Xiaoyuan's words, the three people on top of the array also hurriedly gathered the true essence on their bodies. Open Mountain Seal. A palm print slowly appeared in the hand of the red-robed woman's elder. When the palm print appeared, it also carried a shocking power as it attacked the stone door. Bang! The huge palm print hit the stone door, and the array on the stone door dimmed a little. Following that, a wave of falling rocks fell. Seeing this situation, everyone's faces were filled with joy. However, the joy on his face did not last long before the stone door shook. The falling stones gathered together again, and then the stone door emitted a red light. It passed through the elder on the red-robed woman's side. Aha! After being hit by the array formation, the elder also let out a series of miserable cries. At this time, the woman in red also looked at Zhuo Xiaoyuan fiercely. Feeling the gaze of the woman in red, Zhuo Xiaoyuan also smiled at her. Normal. Although he said this, his heart was indeed a little turbulent. This didn't make sense. It was different from what he had expected. Logically speaking, a corner of the previous one should have been broken. Then, Zhuo Xiaoyuan said to the three of them, "Everyone, you have to attack together. Otherwise, this stone door won't be broken." Hearing Zhuo Xiaoyuan's words, the few of them looked at each other. A few powerful palm prints attacked the array core. When their attacks landed, the stone door also emitted a commotion. Under everyone's expectant gazes, 3 red lights shot out and pierced through the heads of the 3 elders. Chapter 593, Changes in the Cave. Zhenvel. Summicronum 10,000 Array Sky. the mountain peak where the ancient tomb was located. Bang, bang, bang. The mountain peak trembled, and Xiao Changtian, who was walking in the forest, could not help but curse. F***ck, do these Xiaxianists still want to stop? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, a golden light flashed on Zhu Long's body. At this moment, the ground in front of the ancient tomb shook. The woman in red and the jade-faced man steadied themselves and scolded Zhuo Yuan. Zhuo, what did you do? At this time, Zhuo Yuan was also unable to take care of himself. He could no longer maintain the original array in his hands. Looking at the array above the stone gate, he was dumbfounded. It didn't make sense. Why wasn't the array on the stone door broken? With this thought in mind, a golden light flashed in the air and entered the stone door. As the golden light poured into the stone door, it seemed to have received a huge impact. With a bang, it turned into a burst of gravel that scattered in all directions. When the stone door shattered, the trembling of the ground stopped. Zhuo Yuan saw the stone door suddenly being destroyed and was somewhat confused. However, seeing that the ancient tomb did not change again, he covered his beard and said to the other two, "Did you see that? I said that I would open the stone door, so I will naturally open it. As for those few, my condolences." Seeing that the stone door had been broken, the red-robed woman and the jade-faced man did not say anything. Then, with a wave of his hand, the elders behind him turned into black shadows and slipped in. "Sectmaster, we also," seeing the people of the White Jade sect and the Purple Pill sect rush into the ancient tomb, an Array sect elder also said to Zhuo Yuan, "Don't worry, we'll just follow behind them." At this time, Zhuo Yuan also slowly responded to the Array sect elder. To be honest, he did not understand how the stone door had opened. Now that the Purple Pill sect and White Jade sects people took the initiative to enter, it was naturally for them to go in and scout the way. As he thought about this, Zhuo Yuan's mouth curled into a sneer. At the same time in the forest, Xiao Changtian brought Jiang Beichen's figure through the forest. Then he slowly arrived in front of a cave. He saw the faint light from the cave. Xiao Changtian said to Jiang Beichen who was beside him, "Beichen, let's go in and take a look." There were only two possibilities for encountering such a cave here. Or it was a place where some cultivators lived in seclusion. Or it was the residence of some demon beasts. Therefore, Xiao Changtian walked in front of Jiang Beichen and picked up a wooden stick from the ground. After lighting it up with a match, they slowly advanced into the cave. Whoosh! After walking for some distance, Xiao Changtian let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that his luck was quite good. There were different totems carved on the stone walls on both sides of the cave. From the looks of it, it should be the residence of some immortal cultivators. Those wild beasts and demonic beasts did not know how to carve these totems. While walking, Xiao Changtian pressed his hand on the totem on the stone wall. After Xiao Changtian walked past, the totems that Xiao Changtian pressed on all emitted a bright light. In the ancient tomb, as the light rose, on a corridor of the ancient tomb, bush, 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 a few crossbows suddenly shot out from the walls on both sides of the corridor, and countless poisonous arrows flew out. Many Array sect, Purple Pill sect, and White Jade sect elders were caught off guard and died from the arrows. Don't panic, don't panic. At this moment, the jade-faced man's true essence surged, forming an invisible protective barrier around him. The surrounding poisonous arrows hit the protective shield and emitted waves of smoke. When the jade-faced man attacked, the red-clothed woman and Zhuo Yuan also attacked. It blocked all the poisonous arrows that were flying over from the surroundings. Soon, under the cover of everyone, Zhuo Yuan and the others also passed through a long corridor. Bush, bush, bush. The jade-faced man pressed down on a stone pillar and panted heavily. At the same time, Zhuo Yuan and the others also found themselves in front of a palace. Looking at the palace in front of him, Zhuo Yuan's heart was also filled with excitement. From the aura coming out of the palace, it was obvious that this was the place where the supreme-grade immortal weapons were stored. However, having learned his lesson, he did not rush toward the palace first. After resting for a while, he realized that there was no movement in the palace. An elder of the White Jade sect also plucked up his courage and took the lead to walk towards the palace. Everyone's attention was also attracted by him. At the same time, under the mountain peak of the ancient tomb, Xiao Changtian wandered around the cave. He had seen many totems, but he had never seen a human figure. Forget it, he might as well wait here for a while. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian also went to rest in the cave. Then he picked up a small stone and threw it at the totem in front of him. The stone was thrown onto the wall, and the stone wall emitted a burst of light. Seeing this, Xiao Changtian quickly leaned against the wall. This seemed to be the place he was looking for. Could this totem have been left behind by some immortal cultivator? Looking at the wall, Xiao Changtian was also interested. Then he walked to the wall. He touched the wall, and the totem on the wall dimmed. Inside the ancient tomb, the elder of the White Jade sect was slowly walking up the stairs of the palace. Seeing nothing around me, my heart is full of joy. He quickened his pace. Then, a swooshing sound came from the sky. The elder of the White Jade sect looked up. He saw a flaming meteorite flying towards him at an unbelievable speed. No, no, no! The elder of the White Jade sect opened his eyes. When the meteorite fell, blood splattered everywhere. Seeing this scene, Zhuo Shuyuan and the red-robed woman were shocked. Things were not as simple as they thought. At this moment, the woman in red also suggested to the others, "Everyone, why don't we go together? This way, everyone can take care of each other." When the other cultivators heard the woman in red's words, they nodded at each other. They didn't want to be the next them after the tragedy of the White Jade sect's elder. Xiao Changtian, who was in the cave, was currently carving a totem. As he fiddled with it, the sound of gravel falling could be heard. Xiao Changtian also found that the entire wall was opened like a stone door. Seeing this situation, Xiao Changtian also pulled Jiang Beichen into it. Then, the entire stone room shook as he brought Xiao Changtian up. Chapter 594. Webri, Listenville. Omicron my myriad array sky, ancient tomb when Xiao Changtian entered the stone room in the cave. Zhuo Xiuyuan and the others who were in the ancient tomb also encountered a great crisis. Sect Master, Third Elder's arm is broken. An array sect elder was fending off the surrounding demonic beasts as he slowly said to Zhuo Shu. However, these demon beasts were different from the demon beasts of the demon spirit. These demon beasts were just a skeleton without any flesh. From the looks of it, it seemed to be controlled by some array formation. Zhuo Xiuyuan looked at the array sect's third elder who had lost an arm on the ground and frowned. Everyone hold on. We'll be able to pass very soon. When they stepped on the stairs, Zhuo Xiuyuan and the others were on guard against the sky, afraid that the next meteorite would come. He didn't expect that before he saw the meteorite, countless demon beasts would suddenly appear on the surrounding stairs and attack him. These demon beasts had no intelligence. Clearly, they were methods left behind by the former immortal emperor. The situation on Zhuo Xiuyuan's side wasn't good, and the situation on the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man's side wasn't any better. While Zhuo Xiuyuan was resisting the demonic beasts, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen passed through the stone room in the cave. He slowly arrived at a palace. Walking out of the stone room, Xiao Changtian sighed. This immortal cultivator's design was very impressive. It was similar to the elevators he had seen in his previous life. Following that, a magnificent palace of the shrine was reflected in Xiao Changshen's eyes. Looking at the palace in front of him, a few large words floated in the palace. All treasures and spirit skills are free to be taken. Xiao Changtian frowned when he saw the words. Treasures and spirit skills, free to take? How could this immortal cultivator be so good? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to Jiang Beichen, Beichen, go and see if there's anything you like. Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Jiang Beichen also walked around. He picked up the few cultivation methods and spirit skills on the ground and shook his head after flipping through them. These things were too different from what his master had given him. Xiao Changtian also picked up a spirit skill called 10,000 Sword Divine Power from the ground. This was written by an immortal cultivator. Would it be friendly to a mortal friend like him? Xiao Changtian held the book in his hand. For some reason, he suddenly felt excited. If he could cultivate, he would have the power to protect himself in the cultivation world in the future. Xiao Changtian slowly flipped to the first page of the 10,000 Swords Mystical Power and saw a figure wielding a sword. This was a real skill. It was way too much better than the ones the system gave him. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in Xiao Changshan's mind. Please note that the system you are in is a system that does not cultivate. If the host is cultivating, you cannot enter the path of invincibility. Hearing the system's voice, Xiao Changtian couldn't help but curse in his heart. In that case, he could only look at the spirit skill in front of him and not cultivate it. Xiao Changtian thought that he could cultivate his first spirit skill. System, you win. Xiao Changtian kept the book in his interspatial ring. Just because he couldn't do it now didn't mean he couldn't do it in the future. Xiao Changtian was about to put the book into his interspatial ring. The system's voice slowly sounded in his mind again. Reminder, the level of the spirit skill in your hand is detected to be low. It is not recommended to collect it. Lower level? Xiao Changtian was stunned after hearing the system's words. However, it was better than having no one. Xiao Changtian also wanted to absorb the 10,000 Swords divine power. However, what the system said next made Xiao Changtian despair. With host's aptitude, cultivating that spirit skill will not cause any harm to people. What was that? Won't cause any harm? Xiao Changtian screamed in his heart when he heard the system's voice. This wasn't telling him that his aptitude wasn't good enough and he couldn't cultivate this spirit skill. If you have nothing to do, you can sell it for a big price. Xiao Changtian consoled himself and put the infinite sword mystical power into his interspatial ring. On the other hand, Jiang Beichen looked at the books in his hands and threw them around. Finally, he came to Xiao Chang'an and said slowly, "Master, these books are not suitable for me." At this moment, Jiang Beichen voiced his thoughts. These cultivation methods and spirit skills were incomparable to what Xiao Changtian had given them. Hearing Jiang Beichen's words, Xiao Changtian nodded at him. Indeed, with the talent of mortals like us, how could we possibly understand the spirit techniques and divine arts of immortal cultivators? At this moment, Xiao Changtian also patted Jiang Beichen's shoulder. It's okay. There will be better ones in the future. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Jiang Beichen was delighted. Was his master saying that he wanted to give him a high-grade cultivation technique? Xiao Changtian saw Jiang Beichen's overjoyed look and said to him, "See if there's anything you like. When the time comes, I can give it to the other senior brothers and sisters." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Jiang Beichen immediately took action. Xiao Changtian looked at the ropes beside him and pulled them. He sighed, "This work is too bad." In his hand, Xiao Changtian directly broke the hemp rope into two. "Forget it, I'll use my own." Then Xiao Changtian took out a few ropes from his interspatial ring. He packed up the books and put them into his interspatial ring. At the same time, Jiang Beichen looked at the iron swords on the ground and said to Xiao Changtian, "Master, should we take these iron swords back?" When Xiao Changtian heard Jiang Beichen's words, he glanced at the ground and shook his head. These iron swords were too rough. And that wouldn't stick, he didn't dare to say anything. After Xiao Changtian finished collecting, he brought Jiang Beichen into the stone room. Because another big word had just come down. "Take my spiritual weapon and take my inheritance." When Xiao Changtian saw these words, he quickly pulled Jiang Beichen away. If the owner of this palace found out that two mortals had robbed his palace, would they still have a chance to escape? The moment Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen stepped into the stone chamber, Zuoxiu Yuan and the red-clothed woman also came to the front door of the palace. Looking at the door in front of them, Zuoxiu Yuan and the woman in red looked at each other. Then, the woman in red gritted her teeth and pushed the door open. As the woman in red pushed him away, Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen also left the palace in their stone chambers. Chapter 595. The Invincible. Semicron in the ancient tomb of the sky of 10,000 arrays. After Xiao Changtian left with Jiang Beichen, Zuoxuyuan and the others also rushed into the palace. "Ha, everyone, you'll take your treasures first." Zuoxiu Yuan looked at everyone and let out a hearty laugh. Then, with a whoosh, he flew inside. At this time, the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man saw Zuoxiu Yuan's actions. He cursed in his heart. Old fox! As soon as he finished speaking, the two of them walked in. Soon, everyone arrived at the palace. Looking around, Zuoxiu was also a little dumbfounded. Where are the treasures? Zuoxiu Yuan's voice echoed in the palace as he spoke loudly. The situation inside was somewhat beyond his expectations. According to the news, there should be a sex cultivation technique piled up inside. Why was there not a single cultivation technique? Then he saw a rope on the ground. Immortal confining rope? Seeing the rope, Zuoxiu Yuan also intended to go over and fight for it. However, before he could make a move, a figure appeared in front of him. He slowly put the rope on the ground back into his hand. Jadeface, what are you doing? Are you going to take it all for yourself? At this time, Zuoxiu Yuan also shouted at the jade-faced man. After hearing his words, the jade-faced man threw the rope in his hand to him. She shrugged and said slowly, "If you want it, take it." He threw the immortal trapping rope that had been broken into two halves to Zuoxiu. Zuoxiu took it and saw the broken immortal confining rope. He muttered, "How is that possible? How is this possible? How could the immortal confining rope be broken?" This immortal confining rope was his purpose for coming to the immortal emperor's tomb this time. Moreover, this immortal confining rope was a top-grade immortal artifact. How could it be broken? Originally, he had wanted to add the immortal confining rope into his array formation. In that case, he would have a way to deal with even an imperial immortal. He did not expect that the immortal trapping rope would actually be broken in the end. At this time, Zuoxiu Yuan looked at the immortal confining rope in his hand, clearly unable to accept it. On the other side, the red-robed woman was also checking the palace. "No, someone got in first and took all those things," the woman in red said as she pointed at the footprints on the ground. It was obvious that someone had come here before. Zuoxiu Yuan and the jade-faced man looked at each other as they followed the direction of the red-clothed woman's finger. "Bastard, who is it that actually came here before us?" While speaking, Zuoxiu Yuan also swept his gaze across the crowd. There was only one entrance to the ancient tomb. No matter what, he should be among them. When Zuoxiu Yuan's gaze swept over them, everyone felt a chill run down their spines. Then the palace shook. What happened this time? The jade-faced man was extremely irritable as he spoke loudly. Then, in front of Zuoxiu Yuan and the others, a burst of true essence slowly condensed. Not long after, a figure slowly appeared in midair. It was the owner of this ancient tomb, the nameless immortal emperor. Seeing this phantom, Zuoxiu Yuan's face was also filled with joy. He suddenly understood what had just been a test set by the nameless immortal emperor. Those footprints and traces of cultivation methods and spirit skills being moved were definitely caused by this imperial immortal. And that rope might be an illusion. When the shadow appeared, the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man also looked at him in surprise. Nameless immortal emperor, they only knew his name and not his appearance. In the air, the mysterious man looked at the people below and said slowly, "The treasure has already been taken away. What are you doing here?" Zuoxiu Yuan and the jade-faced man were also in a commotion when they heard that the treasure had been taken away. "Senior, as far as we know, we are the first batch to arrive here." The jade-faced man took a step forward and slowly said to the phantom. The illusory figure seemed to have been angered by the jade-faced man. He looked at him and waved his illusory sleeve at him. A terrifying blade of light shot towards the jade-faced man. "I don't like people questioning my words." The jade-faced man's expression turned grave when he heard the mysterious man's domineering words. Holding the feather fan in his hand, he also swung a few light blades at the illusory figure. Bang! The blades of light collided with each other, causing a ripple in the air. Then, the jade-faced man clutched his chest. He did not expect that after so many years of the immortal emperor's death, his strength was still preserved so well. After exchanging blows with the jade-faced man, the mysterious man had no intention of stopping. "All of you should be executed for disturbing the slumber of the grand instance." As the illusory figure's voice sounded, a huge storm palm slowly appeared in the palace. Zhuxiu Yuan and the woman in red wore solemn expressions when they saw this huge palm. Let's go! After learning from the former imperial immortals that the treasures inside had been taken away, they no longer had the need to stay here. With a flash of his body, he walked out of the ancient tomb. As they fled, the palm print followed them. Many people from all walks of life had died. Not long after they left the palace, Zhuxiu Yuan and the others felt the entire ancient tomb shake violently. Damn it! After cursing in his heart, Zhuxiu also increased his speed and flew towards the exit. According to this situation, the entire ancient tomb should be collapsing. The woman in red and the others saw Zhuxiu's figure flying outside. He also shouted at the cultivators behind him, "Let's go!" This trip to the ancient tomb could be said to be extremely terrible for them. Not only did he not get any benefits, he ended up in trouble instead. When such a huge change happened in the ancient tomb, Lin Changfeng, who was in the residence, naturally would not have missed it. Looking at the scene of the ancient tomb collapsing, Lin Changfeng also looked at a room in the residence. Xiao Changtian and the others had not returned yet. After pondering for a while, Lin Changfeng also packed up and walked towards the ancient tomb. He was still a little interested in what happened in the ancient tomb. After Xiao Changtian and the others left the palace, they also came to the stone room. Not long after entering the cave, Xiao Changtian felt the entire cave tremble, as if it was about to collapse. Needless to say, it was definitely the work of that group of immortal cultivators. With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian also brought Jiang Beichen outside. If the cultivators who lived here returned and found that their immortal's cave had been destroyed, they would be able to escape. She and Jiang Beichen were here. If he vented his anger on her, didn't he die unjustly? Chapter 596, still the same words, you can't go to that ancient tomb. Semichronim outside the ancient tomb in the sky of 10,000 formations was Shuyuan, the red-clothed woman, and the jade-faced man landed outside the ancient tomb. Looking at the ancient tomb that had collapsed behind him, Zhuxiu Yuan slowly exhaled. Fortunately, they left in time. Otherwise, they might have been buried with the ancient tomb. At this moment, the woman in red also cupped her fists at the others. Everyone, today's matter ends here. Our purple pill sect won't accompany you any longer. As soon as he finished speaking, he ignored the jade-faced man and Zhuxiu Yuan and brought the purple pill sect's elder to run outside. Are you willing to go back like this, Miss Red? At this time, Zhuxiu Yuan's voice slowly fell into the mouth of the woman in red. Hearing Zhuxiu Yuan's words, the red-clothed woman also clenched her silver teeth. Could it be that sect leader Zhua has a better idea? Although they knew that the treasures in the ancient tomb had been taken away by them, they had no clues at all. Zhuxiu Yuan smiled at them when he heard the woman in red. I naturally have a way to find that person, but that person can find the treasure before us. His strength is definitely extraordinary. Why don't we kill him together and then divide the treasures? At this time, Zhuxiu Yuan slowly said to the jade-faced man and the red-clothed woman. The red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man looked at each other when they heard Zhuxiu Yuan's words. Alright, as long as you have any news, let us know. Well, rest here. They wouldn't send people to follow Zhuxiu Yuan and cause trouble just based on Zhuxiu Yuan's one-sided words. After all, the scene in front of the stone door had not been long. Zhuxiu Yuan also understood what they meant and didn't say anything. With a flash, he also flew into the distance. Found you! Zhuxiu Yuan was flying in the air when he saw the figure of an old man below. He smiled and flew down. In the forest, Lin Changfeng slowly walked towards the ancient tomb. Then, the fallen leaves in front of him fluttered, and a figure flew down from the sky. Sect leader Zhua? Lin Changfeng said to Zhuxiu Yuan as he saw him fall from the sky. Lin Changfeng, long time no see. Zhuxiu Yuan smiled and replied when he saw Lin Changfeng. Sect Master Zhua, is the expedition to the tomb over? Lin Changfeng looked at Zhuxiu Yuan, who was covered in dust and had some blood on one of his arms. She also slowly said to him, the trip to the ancient tomb is over, but look at me. What do you think happened? I won't hide it from you. All the treasures in the ancient tomb have been looted. We even got into trouble. I didn't understand why you didn't join the ancient tomb trip. Tell me, do you know something? Zhou Shiyuan stared at Lin Changfeng, and the true essence in his body kept surging. He looked like he was ready to attack at any time. Lin Changfeng's sudden improvement in array formation skills and the fact that he didn't want to go to this tomb that had infinite attraction. This made Zhou Shiyuan suspicious. Lin Changfeng was also shocked when he heard Zhou Ziyuan's words. Hearing Zhou Shiyuan's words, he also understood why Xiao Changtian didn't let him go to the ancient tomb. Presumably, Senior had already predicted the situation inside the ancient tomb. If he went, it would be a waste. Thinking of this, Lin Changfeng felt grateful towards Xiao Changtian. Not only did it give him an opportunity, but it also allowed him to take fewer detours. As he thought this in his heart, Lin Changfeng also slowly said to Zhou Shiyuan, "You don't have to doubt me. With my strength, if I enter the ancient tomb, would you not notice? As for the reason why I'm not going, it's not convenient for me to disclose it." Zhou Shiyuan smiled at Lin Changfeng when he heard his words. "So, you know something? Your array has improved so quickly. Who knows what kind of opportunities you have recently? We'll only know if we try." As he said this, Zhou Shiyuan also surged his true essence, and a large array was formed under Lin Changfeng's feet. Lin Changfeng felt a large array suddenly rise under his feet and his eyes were fixed on it. With a stomp of his feet, his figure flew up into the sky. The true chi on his fingertips surged and then attacked the array formation below. Bang! As the core of the formation was hit, the array that Zhou Shiyuan created also let out a buzzing sound. Then it exploded below. After obtaining the complete understanding of array formations, Lin Changfeng's understanding of array formations was much higher than before. "You can leave. I don't want to fight with you." Lin Changfeng slowly landed on the ground as he spoke to Zhou Shiyuan. When Zhou Shiyuan saw that Lin Changfeng had improved so much, he became even more suspicious of Lin Changfeng. He took out a signal flare and fired it into the sky. The signal flare exploded in midair, and Lin Changfeng felt two auras rushing towards him. After a while, the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man appeared beside Zhou Shiyuan. Lin Changfeng looked at the two people who suddenly appeared and narrowed his eyes. It seemed that he had been careless. This Zhou Shiyuan had come prepared. After seeing the woman in red and the jade-faced man, Zhou Shiyuan slowly said to them, "You too, I think it was him who took the treasures in the ancient tomb." Hearing Zhou Ziyuan's words, the red-clothed woman and the jade-faced man also looked at Lin Changfeng. The true essence in everyone's bodies flowed continuously. He could make a move at any time. At this moment, a clear voice sounded in everyone's ears. "Old man, why are you here?" Hearing this voice, everyone looked in the direction of the forest. They saw Xiao Changtian and Jiang Beichen slowly walking towards them. Seeing Xiao Changtian, Lin Changfeng was stunned. Senior was indeed a god. He must have known that he was in trouble here. He had specially come to help him. Seeing Xiao Changtian beside him, Lin Changfeng also gave him a fist salute. "Senior." Hearing Lin Changfeng call him senior, Xiao Changtian scratched his head. Then he slowly said to Lin Changfeng, "Old man, what are you doing here?" Lin Changfeng told Xiao Changtian the truth. This old man also wants to investigate this immortal emperor's tomb. As he spoke, Lin Changfeng lowered his head in embarrassment. After all, Xiao Changtian had told him not to go to the immortal emperor tomb. Xiao Changtian sighed after hearing Lin Changfeng's words. The old men in the cultivation world were all people with dreams. Everyone wanted to cultivate to become an immortal. However, it would be great if it was really that easy. As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian said to him, "I'll say it again. You can't go to that ancient tomb." Chapter 597. It shouldn't be difficult to trap a mortal like Sinvel. Omicron him under 110,000 array sky. In the forest, Xiao Changshan's words echoed in everyone's ears. Following that, everyone's eyes focused on Xiao Changtun. Lin Changfeng smiled awkwardly. "Senior is right. Zhuo Shuyuan and the others did not obtain anything after entering. Why would he take the risk? Seeing Lin Changfeng's smiling face, Xiao Changtian continued, "You really can't go to this ancient tomb now. By the time you arrive, all the treasures will have been taken away." Xiao Changtian felt that the old man had not given up, so he continued to persuade him. After such a long time, those opportunities must have been snatched away by those immortal cultivators. What did this old man have to do with it? He might enter that ancient tomb and be hit by some mechanism inside. Wouldn't he die without knowing why? When Xiao Changtian mentioned that the treasures in the ancient tomb had been taken away, Zhuo Xiuyuan, the red-clothed woman, and the jade-faced man also looked at each other. His gaze swept across Xiao Changtian. Judging from his aura, Xiao Changtian was just a mortal. However, how many people were there in Wanjin Heaven who could be called seniors by Lin Changfeng? It might be an old monster who had cultivated for many years. In a situation where there was no enmity between them, who would be willing to offend an old monster? After hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Lin Changfeng sighed in his heart. As expected of a senior, he knew everything that happened in the ancient tomb. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also thought of something. "Old man, let's go back first." If those Xiaxianists came back and found out that the cave had been destroyed, they would definitely fight. What were these mortals doing here if not waiting for death? Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Lin Changfeng followed him and left. Zhuo Xiuyuan and the others watched Xiao Changtian and Lin Changfeng leave, their eyes flickering. As for Xiao Changtian, who had suddenly appeared as an X-Factor, they did not know how strong he was. Lin Changfeng was already very strong. If they attacked together, they probably wouldn't be able to gain anything. At this moment, the red-robed woman saw Xiao Changtian and Lin Changfeng who had walked a distance away. "Look, what's that?" The woman in red pointed at the bamboo basket on Xiao Changshen's back. Some of the books were thick, and the red-robed woman was able to see them clearly with her divine power. Wasn't this the cultivation method and spirit skill recorded in the ancient tomb? Zhuo Xiuyuan and the jade-faced man also realized something when they heard the red-clothed woman's words. The few of them no longer hesitated. Zhuo Xiuyuan's Zhenyuan surged out, forming a huge formation with him as the center. It quickly spread toward Xiao Changtian and Lin Changfeng. "You stole my opportunity and you still want to run?" The jade-faced man looked at Xiao Changtian and Lin Changfeng, who were faintly discernible in front of him, and his body floated in the air. He waved the feather fan in his hand in their direction. Immediately, poisonous thorns flew out from the feather fan, attacking Xiao Changtian. The woman in red was naturally unwilling to fall behind. Her hands also made a series of changing gestures, and a huge flame appeared beside her. The flame left a huge trail behind it as it flew towards Xiao Changtian. At this moment, Lin Changfeng, who was beside Xiao Changtian, also said slowly to him, "Senior, what should we do?" Zhuo Xiuyuan and the others suddenly launched an attack on them. If he was alone, he would not be able to block them. Hearing Lin Changfeng's words, Xiao Changtian frowned. Could it be that this old man still wanted to go to the ancient tomb of that immortal cultivator? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian said to him unhappily, "Of course we're going back. Don't worry about anything else, let us go." This old man, I was trying to persuade him out of goodwill. Why did he take things so hard? Lin Changfeng heard the displeasure in Xiao Changshen's words and smiled at him. "Senior, you're right. I also know some small array formations. Perhaps I can." Lin Changfeng stopped halfway. Why was he so stupid? Senior told him not to care. He definitely wanted to settle it himself. Why was his mouth so lacking? Xiao Changtian heard what Lin Changfeng said and stopped walking. He said to him, "What did you just say? You know formations?" Lin Changfeng was stunned when he saw Xiao Changtian suddenly stop and ask. Then he slowly nodded to Xiao Changtian. "I only know a little. It's not worth mentioning." Then Lin Changfeng felt that the spirit skill was getting closer and closer, and he was very nervous. Why didn't this senior do anything? Xiao Changshen's voice was heard as he thought about this. "Old man, hurry up and show me one." Lin Changfeng understood what Xiao Changtian meant. "Senior, you want me to block the attacks from behind first, right?" "That was right. Senior had given him such a profound array formation, so how could he not repay him? With that thought in mind, Lin Changfeng was just about to make a move when Jiang Beichen's voice reached his ears. Do whatever master tells you to do. Don't worry about anything else. Jiang Beichen's voice rang in Lin Changfeng's ears. Then, Lin Changfeng saw Jiang Beichen throw a leaf behind him. The leaf floated in the air, bringing with it an unmatched sword qi. Then, whether it was Wuxiu Yuan's array, the red-clothed woman's flames, or the jade-faced man's poisonous thorns, the two of them were all killed. They were all annihilated by the sword qi before they could pass through his position. After the collision, the leaf showed no signs of dissipating. It directly tore through the sky and hit Wuxiu Yuan, the jade-faced man, and the red-clothed woman. After Wuxiu Yuan and the others fell to the ground, they never got up again. Lin Changfeng gulped when he saw the scene behind him. This senior's disciple was already so strong. At this moment, Xiao Chang's voice slowly entered his ears. Old man, will it take a long time to cast this formation? After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lin Changfeng also said to Xiao Changtian slowly, Senior, it will be done soon. Xiao Changtian waved his hand at Lin Changfeng. How about this? Use a formation on me and see if you can control me. Seeing that Lin Changfeng had been preparing for so long but did not make any moves, he was shocked. Xiao Changtian also wanted to give him some advice. After all, this old man only knew a little, so he shouldn't make things too difficult for him. It shouldn't be difficult to trap a mortal like him. Chapter 598. Old man, you have to practice your arrays in Vel. Xiaomicronym formation 10,000 array. In the forest, Lin Changfeng's mouth twitched when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Senior, are you serious? Trapping you is making things difficult for me. Seeing Lin Changfeng's troubled face, Xiao Changtian slowly said to him, What's wrong, old man? Is there a problem? Could it be that you can't trap me? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lin Changfeng could only nod his head in embarrassment. Senior, I can still try to trap the others. But what am I supposed to do if I trap you? Xiao Changtian got Lin Changfeng's confirmation and complained. Old man, you have to practice your formation well. This old man couldn't even trap himself. He wondered if this array formation could be considered rudimentary. More importantly, he did not know if the system would acknowledge the array set up by this old man. While he was thinking about this, he also said slowly in his mind, System, can this old man be considered qualified to set up the sect protection array? Ding dong. As long as it's a formation master, there won't be a problem. Hearing the system's ambiguous answer, Xiao Changtian was a little confused. Did the system mean yes or no? Forget it, let's see what kind of array this old man knows first. Xiao Changtian thought so and said to Lin Changfeng slowly, Old man, just set up the formation that you are most proficient in. Lin Changfeng nodded at Xiao Changtian. Then, he made a series of hand gestures and a huge formation was formed under his feet. Senior, what do you think of the heaven and earth array formation? Once this array formation is activated, no one can approach me within a few miles. Unlike Zuolian's killing formation, Lin Changfeng's main cultivation was the path of defense. Therefore, he also displayed his proudest work. At this moment, Xiao Changtian had also appeared beside Lin Changfeng. She patted his shoulder and said slowly, Old man, I don't feel anything. Xiao Changtian looked around him. What was this old man talking about? It sounded awesome, but why didn't anything change around him? Could it be that he was a mortal and could not see the array? But that was not right. He did not feel affected at all. Xiao Changtian remembered that those Xiaxianis had fought with earth-shaking powers. Was this old man bragging to him just now? As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian also looked at Lin Changfeng suspiciously. Lin Changfeng smiled embarrassedly at Xiao Changtian. I really have no choice. Senior, you don't feel anything. It's because you directly broke the array. How can you blame me for that? Alright, blame me for being too weak. Lin Changfeng looked at Xiao Changtian in front of him. After Xiao Changtian paced back and forth in front of Lin Changfeng, he slowly said to him, Old man, are you willing to go to the 100,000 mountains with me and help me build a sect protecting formation? He did not see any array masters here. It was not easy to meet an old man, so it was better to pull him back and give it a try. Perhaps the system would pass. Lin Changfeng was overjoyed when he heard Xiao Changtian's words. Was this senior inviting him to join them? Lin Changfeng nodded to Xiao Changtian. Senior, no problem. Can follow Xiao Changtian's side, then he can get the opportunity is also a lot of. Perhaps he would have more confidence in going to treasure pill heaven in the future. Seeing the old man agree, Xiao Changtian continued, let's talk about the salary first. Food and accommodation are included, okay? Lin Changfeng was stunned when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. Senior, I don't want anything. I just want to stay by your side. It was already a great opportunity for him to be able to cultivate by Senior's side. How could he dare to ask for a salary? He didn't want anything. Xiao Changtian frowned when he heard the old man. Looking at the old man's appearance, he was also a little naive. He was already so old, yet he still did not want anything. How was he going to retire in the future? As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian said to him, how about this? After I finish it, I'll give you a painting or something. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lin Changfeng was about to refuse, but when he saw Xiao Changshan's expression, he said to him, no problem, I'll listen to Senior. All right, tidy up the courtyard. Well, set off immediately. Xiao Changtian said to Lin Changfeng slowly. There were so many cultivators here fighting for his opportunities, so it was better for him to leave as soon as possible. Lin Changfeng nodded at Xiao Changtian. Then she followed him out of the forest. After Xiao Changtian brought Lin Changfeng and the others out of the forest, Zuoxiu Yuan, who had fallen to the ground, also slowly stood up. Looking at the direction where Xiao Changtian had left, Zuoxiu Yuan's eyes were also gloomy. He covered his chest with his hand. There was an obvious wound there. It was obvious that Jiang Beichen had just stayed behind. Then he took out a jade bottle from his interspatial ring. He took out a pill and put it into his mouth. Lin Changfeng, just you wait. Then, Zuoxiu Yuan's figure also flew into the distance. The direction they were flying towards was treasure pill heaven. When Zuoxiu Yuan left, the red-clothed woman on the ground coughed a few times. She slowly stood up from the ground and walked to the side of the jade-faced man. After searching his body for a while, he also took away the treasures on his body. Finally, a flame rose from his hand and slowly landed on the jade-faced man. The jade-faced man's body turned into ashes. Grandpa, the mission you gave me is really difficult. Just a moment ago, she felt the arrival of the Grim Reaper. After doing all this, the woman in red took out a jade pendant. After slowly crushing it, a huge wormhole slowly appeared. The red-robed woman also stepped in without any hesitation. On the other side, Xiao Changtian and Lin Changfeng slowly appeared in the divine world. It's just ahead. Xiao Changtian saw the old man beside him looking around in surprise and said slowly to him. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lin Changfeng smiled at him. He really didn't expect Xiao Changtian to live in such a god realm with thin spiritual energy. Was this a big shot? Lin Changfeng suddenly felt that Xiao Changtian was not only unreachable, but also unfathomable. Perhaps, Senior's strength had already reached the level of returning to the original. Chapter 599:1 Didn't expect, there's always a mountain higher, isn't there? Siomicron M Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains under Xiao Changshan's lead, Lin Changfeng quickly crossed the mountains of the 100,000 mountains. Lin Changfeng looked at the lake. At this moment, the black water dragon was slowly swimming on the surface of the lake. Lin Changfeng was shocked when he saw the black water dragon. Was this a celestial king demonic beast? Xiao Changtian saw Lin Changfeng stop and smiled at him. Don't be afraid, that little black just entered the sect not long ago. Lin Changfeng nodded at Xiao Changtian. For immortal kings, which sect wouldn't treat them as old ancestors? He had only just entered the sect when he came to Senior. It seemed that his previous prediction of Senior was still too low. To let an immortal king-level demon beast guard the door, Senior was probably a legendary creation immortal or even a higher-level cultivator, right? With reverence, Lin Changfeng and Xiao Changtian stepped on Blackie's body and slowly came to the island. At this moment, the great Sun Immortal and the others also saw Xiao Changtian, who had returned. "Senior, you're back." As soon as Xiao Changtian stepped onto the island, everyone greeted him. Xiao Changtian also responded to them one by one when he saw them. Then he introduced Lin Changfeng. "Old man, this is the great Sun Immortal, that is the Red Cloud Divine King who wants to cultivate immortality, and that..." Xiao Changtian was also worried that this old man would not be used to living here, so he introduced the great Sun Immortal and the others to him one by one. After hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Lin Changfeng smiled at the Grand Sun Immortal and the others. So the people around Senior were so terrifying? These people didn't have any aura leaking out, but the things they were holding and wearing. No matter how he looked at it, it was even more awesome than a high-grade immortal artifact. The rake, hoe, and brick in his hand were probably at the level of a top-grade immortal weapon. After greeting the Grand Sun Immortal and the others, Lin Changfeng realized what kind of place he had come to. Indeed, birds of a feather flocked together. Big shots were surrounded by big shots. Then Xiao Changtian introduced them. "This old man is an array master. He'll have to trouble everyone to take care of him when he constructs the sect protection array for our sect." Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Lin Changfeng also cupped his fists at the great Sun Immortal and the others. "He'll have to trouble everyone to take care of me in the future." When Taoist Big Sun and the others heard Lin Changfeng's words, they also waved at him. "No problem. Since we're here, we're all family now. If there's anything, look for me." Since he was the array master that Senior found, he might be Senior's favorite person in the future. It was never wrong to build a good relationship with this old man. Look at that chef from before. Isn't he being used by the Senior to make 3 meals a day now? After introducing Lin Changfeng to the Grand Sun Immortal, Xiao Changtian stretched himself. Then he saw Hellfire waving at him. "Hellfire, there's a newcomer on this island. You should give him a good welcome tonight." The Hellfire nodded at Xiao Changtian. "No problem, Senior." "Hellfire?" Lin Changfeng suddenly felt that the name Hellfire sounded familiar. This name, where did he hear it from? Then Lin Changfeng saw Xiao Changtian take out a green bull from his interspatial ring. Was this a half-step immortal emperor demonic beast? Could it be that person from Green Bull Mountain? Lin Changfeng gasped when he saw Xiao Changtian take out the green ox. Some time ago, he had heard the news of a human robbing everything in Green Bull Mountain. At that time, he was still suspecting who was capable of destroying the territory of a half-step immortal emperor. If it was a Senior, then it was indeed reasonable. "Let's eat beef hot pot tonight." Xiao Changtian handed the blue sky to the Hellfire and said slowly. When the Hellfire heard Xiao Changshen's words, it was also excited. As for hot pot, it was a skill that he had just learned recently. Coupled with the blue sky as an ingredient, the Hellfire was extremely happy. After Lin Changfeng saw the Hellfire clearly, he remembered. Wasn't this the same person from the Sacred Spirit Heaven? Seeing Xiao Changtian hand over the blue sky to the Hellfire, Lin Changfeng said to Xiao Changtian slowly, "Senior, are you going to slaughter this green ox and eat it?" Even though he already had the answer in his heart, he still couldn't resist the temptation of a half-step immortal emperor demonic beast. Lin Changfeng could not help but ask. Xiao Changtian heard Lin Changfeng's words and said, "What else? It's just a cow. If you don't have it, just go and fight." According to Xiao Changshen's experience, those old men who were in their middle school were relatively poor. He must have felt that it was a waste to kill such a big cow to entertain him. At this moment, Lin Changfeng said to Xiao Changtian gratefully, "Thank you, Senior." Seeing Lin Changfeng's grateful expression, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at him. Sure enough, just as he had imagined, a cow could move an old man to this extent. Then, Xiao Changtian slowly said to Lin Changfeng, "You just arrived. Why don't you familiarize yourself with the surroundings first?" Lin Changfeng nodded at Xiao Changtian. At this moment, the great Sun Immortal also said to Lin Changfeng, "Why don't I take this fellow Taoist to take a look?" Xiao Changtian nodded at him after hearing the words of the great Sun Immortal. He felt at ease when Taoist Big Sun brought this old man. After being busy for so long, he should go and rest. After she woke up, she would have a hot pot. Life was so delicate. After Xiao Changtian left, the great sun immortal also brought Lin Changfeng to familiarize himself with the environment on the island. When he saw the black tortoise, phoenix, and other divine beasts on the island, Lin Changfeng was a little stunned. On this island, he had thought that Taoist Big Sun and the others were the strongest assistants of Senior. He did not expect that there would be a mountain higher than the other. This island was really full of hidden dragons and tigers. This was a divine beast that was usually not seen. However, they could be seen everywhere here. Also, when Senior's disciples saw Yi Fan, the axe he used to chop firewood seemed to be able to split his soul into two. No, he had to work hard in the future and become a follower behind Senior. If it really didn't work, he could also be a gatekeeper on the island. After all, on the island, his strength was probably only comparable to that demonic beast. After wandering around the island for a while, Lin Changfeng immediately made up his mind. Also, he had to do a good job with this sect protecting array. Chapter 600. 9 Heavens God Sealing Array, Omicronum Divine Realm, 100,000 mountains on a long wooden table on the island. The soup base of the hot pot kept boiling under the burning flames, and waves of fragrance floated out from it. As the fragrance entered their noses, everyone present felt that the flow of true essence in their bodies had become much smoother. Just the smell alone could cause such an effect. At this moment, everyone was staring at the hot pot on the table. Everyone, don't be anxious. Xiao Changtian was sitting in the middle of the crowd, holding a spoon in his hand as he helped everyone scoop the soup and put the meat in. Lin Changfeng saw Xiao Changshan's expression and understood why he was so respected by everyone. Senior's state of mind was not something he could compare to. He was strong, but he did not put on airs. He was gentle to others and even did these things himself. If he had such a state of mind when he was young, his current achievements would probably be far more than this. Lin Changfeng sighed in his heart. When he saw Xiao Changtan helping him with the soup, he smiled and said, "Senior, how can I trouble you? I'll do it myself." Xiao Changtian nodded after hearing Lin Changfeng's words. "Okay, I'll put the spoon here. You can help yourself." Xiao Changtian sighed. This newcomer was really good. He was nothing like the others. He was so lazy that every time he scooped rice and soup, he couldn't pick up the spoon or the chopsticks. All kinds of excuses made him have no choice but to do it himself. He had no choice. After all, he had promised to provide food and accommodation. After Xiao Changtian put down the spoon, Lin Changfeng was about to scoop the soup himself. He saw that everyone present was looking at him in shock. Diwu Jing secretly gave him a thumbs up. What had he done? Lin Changfeng could not react when he felt everyone's gaze. Then, he immediately understood as soon as he held the spoon. I was too careless, too careless. He had actually forgotten that the spoons and utensils used by Senior were at least top-grade immortal artifacts. With the strength of the others, there was no way they could take them down. How could he do it with his little strength? Lin Changfeng held the spoon in his hand and used all the true essence in his body, but he only made the spoon move slightly. As Lin Changfeng's face turned red, the situation became very awkward. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also noticed that Lin Changfeng had not filled his bowl for a long time. "Old man, don't be so reserved. It's fine to serve a little more." This old man must be here for the first time. He was a little shy. From his face, it was obvious that he was red. He was afraid that if he filled too much, it would give others a bad impression. If he filled too little, he would not be full. "All right, Senior." Lin Changfeng nodded at Xiao Changtian. Now, it was not a matter of whether he had more or less spoons. It was a matter of whether he could lift the spoon. With the spoon in his hand, Lin Changfeng felt like he was carrying a few mountains. Finally, after much effort, Lin Changfeng put some beef soup into his bowl. Then, he sat down on the chair, panting heavily. Lin Changfeng felt that scooping soup for himself was more tiring than fighting hundreds of rounds with others. Seeing that Lin Changfeng had been flourishing for so long, Xiao Chang'an said slowly, "Old man, "Is this enough to fill your stomach? You should eat more." The little bit of meat that this old man had was probably only enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. While speaking, Xiao Changtian also helped to scoop some from the pot. "Thank you, senior." At this moment, Lin Changfeng also thanked Xiao Changtian. Soon, everyone began to enjoy the meat of the Qingtian demonic beasts, especially the Hellfire, who felt great eating the food he made. After dinner, Lin Changfeng said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, I already have an idea for this lake protection sect's grand array." At this moment, Lin Changfeng took out a blueprint from his pocket and handed it to Xiao Changtian. This diagram was the 9 heavens god ceiling formation that he had designed. It was made from the essence of his life. He had also fused the methods within and reached a new level. Lin Changfeng believed that as long as this array was set up, even a creation immortal could attack the island. It was not a simple matter, and there was even the danger of being killed. After all, the 9 formation cores on the array complemented each other and were ever-changing. They were both offensive and defensive. Xiao Changtian looked at the blueprints Lin Changfeng gave him. After a casual glance, he nodded at him. "No problem, well, do as you want." Xiao Changtian also knew that this old man only knew a little. He couldn't expect too much from them. There wouldn't be any powerful cultivators coming to this place. If it came, no matter how strong this array formation was, it would not be able to stop it. Lin Changfeng got Xiao Changshan's approval and said to him slowly, "Senior, what do you think about using these for the formation cores?" Lin Changfeng took a step to the side as he spoke. The huge flags that were flying behind him were revealed. However, the 9 flying flags that he had collected in the 10,000 array sky over the years were all high-grade immortal artifacts. If combined, it could even be comparable to a supreme-grade immortal artifact. Lin Changfeng was very confident in his own flying flag, but after seeing the equipment used by Xiao Changtian, he was shocked. Lin Changfeng felt that his 9 flying flags might not be able to catch Xiao Changshan's eye. However, the 9 heavens god ceiling formation had a very high requirement for immortal artifacts. These 9 immortal artifacts had to be connected to each other. He was able to find these 9 flying flags that were connected to each other partly because he was lucky. Xiao Changtian looked at the flying flag in front of him and placed his hand under his chin. "Old man, what do you think of these 9? As he spoke, Xiao Changtian took out the 9 flags that the system had given him. It wasn't that the old man's 9 flags weren't good, but Xiao Changtian felt that the flags given by the system were useless. However, if he looked a little more awe-inspiring, it might have some deterrent effect. When Lin Changfeng saw the 9 flags, he was excited. "Senior, of course. With these 9 flags, I can guarantee that no one will be able to attack the island." The strength of the 9 heavens god ceiling array also depended on the strength of the array immortal artifact. Lin Changfeng couldn't see through the 9 flags Xiao Changtian had taken out. However, he was sure that it was definitely above the supreme grade immortal artifact, and they were even related. Once the 9 heavens god ceiling array was set up, let alone the experts he knew, it was impossible for him to do so. Even the legendary power of the heavenly Tao might not be able to break him. Chapter 601:1 was played. Listenvel. See Omicron Treasure Pill Heaven. On a quiet mountain peak. In the air, a stream of light slowly swept past, and then a figure slowly landed on the mountain peak. It was Zhuo Shiyuan, who had escaped from Wanzhentian. After arriving at Treasure Pill Heaven, Zhuo Shiyuan also heaved a sigh of relief. After all, Jiang Beichen's attack had left a deep impression on him. Not only did a leaf block their attack, but it also caused damage to them. Of course, the scarier one was the young man beside Lin Changfeng. He directly plundered everything in the immortal emperor's ancient tomb, and from the beginning to the end, he did it as if it was light. He didn't even make a move. This trip to the ancient tomb was simply a loss for him. Not only did they not get anything, but their array sect also lost a lot of people. After this trip to the ancient tomb, the array sect could be said to have suffered a great loss. Zhuo Shiyuan covered his chest with his hand and could see a long scar on his chest. He thought that he would be able to recover quickly with his own strength. He did not expect the sword chi to be so terrifying. Not only was it constantly eroding his wounds, but it was also constantly eroding his wounds. Moreover, there was a tendency for it to erode other places. He condensed his true essence in his palm and slowly stabilized the wound. Zhuxiuyuan also slowly walked forward. Arriving in front of a small pavilion, Zhuxiuyuan also saw Dan Hun Tian sitting there quietly. The moment Zhuxiuyuan arrived, the Pill Soul Sky seemed to have sensed something. He opened his eyes and stood up from his seat. He walked in front of Zhuxiuyuan and saw the injuries on his body. He then slowly said to him, "Brother Zhua, what did you encounter? How did it end up like this?" Zhuxiuyuan looked at the Pill Soul Sky in front of him and said angrily, "Don't mention it. Brother Dan, it'll have to trouble you to take a look at my injuries." At this time, Zhuxiuyuan also showed his wound to the Pill Soul Sky to check. The Pill Soul Heaven was also shocked when he saw the injury on Zhuxiuyuan's chest. Could it be that some peerless swordsman had appeared in the human realm upon heavens? "Brother Zhua, who did this sword chi on your body?" Zhuxiuyuan also shook his head at him when he heard Pill Soul Heaven's words. "An unknown man. I don't know much about him." "Brother Dan, is there any way to cure it?" As an alchemist, the Sky of Pill Soul was definitely an expert in this field. If he couldn't do anything, Zhuxiuyuan would probably curse. When the Pill Soul Sky heard Zhuxiuyuan's words, he pondered for a moment and slowly said to him, "Brother Zhua, there is only one way now, and that is to force the sword chi to your left hand, and then," at this point, Dan Hunian also pointed his right hand down, making a cutting gesture. Hearing the words of the Pill Soul Sky, Zhuxiuyuan also struggled. Since the Pill Soul Heaven said so, it seemed that his injuries were also very serious. If he cut off his left hand, he could find some natural treasures to recover. If this sword chi kept winding around his body, he would probably not have a good time in the future. After weighing the pros and cons in his heart, Zhuxiuyuan gritted his teeth and gathered the sword aura in his body to his left hand according to the instructions of the Pill Soul Sky. "Brother Dan, sorry to trouble you." At this time, Zhuxiuyuan also said to the Pill Soul Sky. Zhuxiuyuan's voice fell. Dan Hun Tian also did not have any hesitation. The true essence in his hand gathered into his palm and slashed across Zhuxiuyuan's left shoulder like a sharp blade. Zhuxiuyuan's left arm was directly cut off by the Pill Soul Sky. After doing all this, Dan Hun Tian also brought Zhuxiuyuan to the chair in the pavilion. After pouring a cup of tea for Zhuxiuyuan, Dan Hunian also slowly said to him, "Brother Zhua, do you have any plans for revenge?" Zhuxiuyuan took the tea from the Pill Soul Sky. After taking a sip, he clenched his fists. "If I don't take revenge, how can I, Zhuxiuyuan, establish myself in the human realm upon heavens in the future? Brother Dan, please help me." After hearing Zhuxiuyuan's words, the Pill Soul Heaven also smiled. At this moment, an alchemy pavilion disciple slowly walked in from outside. After saying a few words in Dan Hun Tian's ear, Dan Hun Tian slowly said to Zhuxiuyuan, "Brother Zhua, I will definitely help you with this. However, how about we be friends first?" Zhuxiuyuan did not say anything when he heard what the Pill Soul Sky said. Then, a figure in red slowly appeared in his eyes. Hong Yi. Seeing this figure, Zhuxiuyuan also stood up from his seat and said slowly, "Wasn't the person standing in front of him the red-robed woman who had entered the ancient tomb with him?" At this moment, Dan Hun Tian also smiled at him and said, "Brother Zhua, let me introduce you. This is my granddaughter, Hong Yi. But, have you met?" The red-robed woman slowly walked up to him as soon as he finished speaking. "Grandpa." Zhuxiuyuan looked at the woman in red and the sky of Pill Soul with a slightly stunned expression. In his memory, the woman in red should have died under Jiang Beichen's sword aura. Also, this Pill Soul Heaven actually raised his granddaughter in the Purple Pill sect. This was still somewhat beyond his expectations. The lady in red didn't die under the sword chi. It's really worth celebrating. At this time, Zhuxiuyuan also slowly said to the woman in red. He could also feel that the red-dressed woman had the same sword chi as him. "Take it and eat it." At this moment, the Pill Soul Heaven also gave the red-robed woman a pill. The wounds on his body were also slowly dissipating. "Brother Dan, what do you mean?" Zhuxiu Yuan was a little confused now and felt that something was wrong. Didn't this pill soul heaven just tell him that he wanted to cut off his arm? Why was it solved by a pill from his granddaughter now? Zhuxiu Yuan could smell a storm brewing. He seemed to have been played. At this time, Dan Huntian also slowly said to Zhuxiu Yuan, "Brother Zhua, actually, when Zhua Luyan died, I had asked Hongyi to monitor you. It just so happened that we encountered the immortal emperor's tomb, so we let her explore it. And the young man you met has been against me for some time. In that case, we have a common enemy." Zhuxiu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard the words of the pill soul heaven as he slowly said to him, "That's right. Don't worry, after you die, I will avenge you." Dan Huntian also nodded at this time and then came to Zhuxiu Yuan. Even though Zhuxiu Yuan was already prepared, he was still pierced through the abdomen by pill soul heaven's palm. "Brother Dan, do you think an armless array master is still an array master?" Chapter 602. You want to become his woman? Visenvel. Omicronim bowed in heaven. Next to the small pavilion, Dan Huntian's palm slowly took out from Zhuxiu Yuan's abdomen. Zhuxiu Yuan, who was in front of him, also fell heavily to the ground. He opened his eyes, looking like he had died with grievances. At this moment, the woman in red slowly walked to the side of the sky of Pill Soul. Looking at the dead Zhuxiu Yuan on the ground, he slowly said to the sky of Pill Soul, "Grandpa, what should we do next? No matter what, the grudge between us and that young man is getting bigger and bigger." Hearing the woman in red's words, the sky of Pill Soul's face darkened as well. He looked up in the direction of the Saint Spirit sky. "Next, Grandfather will use the body of the left Xuan to break through. During this period of time, I cannot be disturbed by anyone. So, he'll have to rely on you for this period of time." "Relying on me?" When the red-clothed woman heard the words of the Pill Soul Heaven, she was also somewhat stunned. "That's right. With Grandpa's current strength, the chances of defeating him are not very high. You should also know that this level of battle is not good. If you don't do well, the entire Pill Pavilion might be wiped out. Therefore, before I have absolute confidence, I still have to rely on you to go up." When the red-clothed woman heard Pill Soul Heaven's words, her heart also experienced some ups and downs. Ever since she was young, she had really never seen the Pill Soul Heaven so solemn. It seemed that the young man had given his grandfather a lot of pressure. "Grandpa, how strong is that young man?" At this moment, the woman in red slowly asked the Pill Soul Sky. When the Pill Soul Heaven heard the woman in red, it turned around and walked toward her. Based on the information that Grandfather has, there should be a few immortal emperors. They might even have reached the peak of the immortal emperor realm. Immortal emperor peak stage? Hearing the words of the Pill Soul Sky, the red-robed woman did not immediately digest it. Immortal emperor peak stage, no wonder even Grandfather was so cautious. That person probably didn't use his full strength in Wanjin Heaven. Otherwise, he might have already. So, now you know what kind of difficulties our Pill Pavilion is facing. Pill Soul Sky looked at the red-clothed woman's stunned expression and continued to speak to her. "Grandpa, what do you want me to do?" At this moment, the woman in red slowly said to the Pill Soul Sky. At this time, Pill Soul Heaven also sighed. "Grandfather doesn't have high expectations for you. Go to that divine realm and be by his side." "Grandpa, do you want me to monitor him?" "But my strength," the red-robed woman asked after hearing the words of the Pill Soul Sky. The red-robed woman felt that it was impossible to monitor a peak imperial immortal. The Pill Soul Heaven shook its head when it heard the woman in red. "No, with your strength, once you get close to him, you will definitely be discovered immediately, and once there is malice, I'm afraid they will immediately turn into ashes. So, on the contrary, you have to take the initiative to approach him. Don't think about dealing with him. Instead, please him, make him trust you, and finally make yourself his woman. In this case, our Pill Pavilion will have a way out in the future." At this moment, Pill Soul Heaven also spoke to the red-robed woman earnestly. Hearing the words of the Pill Soul Sky, the red-clothed woman's body trembled. Just as she was about to say something, Dan Hun Tian continued, "Hongi, Grandpa knows that this matter is a little unfair to you. However, isn't it an honor to be a woman at the peak of the Imperial Immortal stage?" The red-robed woman fell silent for a moment when she heard the Sky of Pill Soul's words. Then she continued, "Grandpa, will that person take a fancy to me?" As she spoke, the woman in red was not confident. Since the other party was an immortal emperor, he must have seen countless women. Why would he like a weak woman like her? "Hongi, he will. He will take a fancy to you. Otherwise, how do you think you survived until now?" At this moment, the Pill Soul Sky also said slowly to the woman in red. The red-robed woman also thought of something when she heard the Sky of Pill Soul's words. "Grandpa, when you were in Wanjin Tian, that person deliberately let me live, but he wasn't the one who attacked me. If it wasn't him, then at least it's related to him, right? At least without his permission, would the others have acted? Hongi, you only need to believe in yourself. Besides, Grandpa has prepared some methods for you. Grandpa believes that you can succeed. If it really doesn't work, take this thing. Perhaps you can use it." At this moment, Dan Hun Tian took out a jade bottle from his bosom and slowly handed it to the woman in red. The red-robed woman was also stunned when she saw the Pill Soul Sky handed her. Joyous Unification Powder. Don't worry, Hongi. This was personally refined by Grandfather. Even an immortal emperor would be unable to stop after consuming it. The red-clothed woman nodded after keeping the jade bottle from the Pill Soul Sky into her interspatial ring. "Okay, Grandpa. I'll try my best." "Good granddaughter, hurry up and go." Under the persuasion of the Pill Soul Sky, the red-robed woman turned into a stream of light and flew toward the Saint Spirit Sky. After the lady in red left, a figure slowly appeared beside Pill Soul Heaven. "Have you done what you ordered?" "Pavilion Master, everything has been arranged for young Mississippi. If nothing unexpected happens, young Miss will definitely be able to marry that person." Hearing the guard's report, Dan Hun Tian muttered, "Very good. Tell them that I'm going to be in seclusion for the next period of time. Don't come to me if there's nothing." As soon as he finished speaking, Dan Hun also puts Xiao Yuan's corpse into his space ring. Together with the guard, their figures disappeared from where they were. At the same time, in the 10,000 Mountains at this moment, Lin Changfeng was very excited. After a few days of hard work, he finally completed the 9 Heavens God Sealing Array. With Xiao Changshan's 9 flags, this 9 Heavens God Sealing formation was the strongest formation he had ever built in his life. At this moment, Lin Changfeng also called Xiao Changtian over. "Senior, are you satisfied with this formation?" Lin Changfeng pointed at the formation and said to Xiao Changtian. Seeing the flags on the island, Xiao Changtian knew that the old man had finished building the formation. However, the system still had the final say. While he was thinking about this, he also said slowly in his mind, "System, are you satisfied with this sect protection array?" Ding dong. The host has completed the mission. Reward, 100 ways of medicine, 1 herb furnace. Chapter 603, Senior looks up to a high mountain. Isenvel. Xiaomicronim Divine Realm, 100,000 Mountains. The system's voice slowly sounded in Xiao Changshan's mind. Xiao Changtian was also delighted. Originally, he had only brought this old man here to try his luck. He didn't expect that he could pass through the array system created by using a few flags. It was really a bloody profit. As he thought about this, Xiao Changtian saw the reward on the system panel. A medicinal herb stove was just a stove used to boil Chinese medicine. Also, the system was training him to become a doctor, right? Then, Xiao Changtian slowly placed the 100 methods of medicine and the medicinal herb furnace into the system's backpack. Anyway, the things given by the system were useless. They were all daily necessities. They might be able to sell them for money in the future. Then, the system's voice continued to ring in Xiao Changshan's mind. A new mission for the host: collect all kinds of cultivation techniques and spiritual skills, and establish a sutra library. The system's voice slowly sounded in Xiao Changshan's mind. Xiao Changtian cursed in his heart. The missions issued by the system were really ridiculous. He was clearly just a mortal. He was lucky enough to meet an old man to build a sect protection array. Now, it was getting more and more excessive. He even wanted him to build a sutra depository. Wasn't this just to make fun of him? If only the old man had cultivation techniques and spirit skills. I've already cultivated long ago. Why would I submit to your pressure? After cursing in his heart for a while, Xiao Changtian also walked towards the inner part of the island. No, I can't indulge this stupid system too much. Lin Changfeng was also confused when he saw Xiao Changtian leave without saying anything. Could it be that Senior is not satisfied with the 9 heavens god ceiling formation that I have built? Lin Changfeng scratched the back of his head and saw that the array in his arms had been completely resolved. He had comprehended it in an instant. Senior must have been afraid that he would be proud, so he didn't say anything. After all, there were still many things that he had not learned in this book. It must be like this. He had to study it well and strive to make the 9 heavens god ceiling formation reach the level that Senior was satisfied with as soon as possible. With that thought in mind, Lin Changfeng walked towards his residence. Senior's cultivation was so profound, but he still didn't give up on advancing. In this god world where spiritual energy was thin, the mortal world tempered one's heart. With his immortal king cultivation base, if he didn't work hard, he would be chased away by his senior in the future. He would really have no face to live on. At the same time, in a small town outside the Shirwan mountain, there was some blood on the flower fairy's chest, and Chui, who was beside her, was supporting her. The 2 women looked at the black figures in the air with cold expressions. Palace Master, do you really have to be so heartless? The flower fairy looked at an old woman in the air and said slowly. The old woman was wearing a golden crown and holding a walking stick in her hand. Strangely, there was a wreath attached to the head of the walking stick. When the old woman heard the flower fairy's words, she smiled at her and said, "Look at you. Why are you so disobedient with such a face? Previously, when First Elder and the others came to look for you, it was fine if you didn't agree. I'm asking you to find the man you like now. Can't you do this? Furthermore, it's a matchmaker from the human realm upon heavens. Don't be so shameless." Although the old woman was old, her words carried a hint of resentment. At the same time, he looked at the black shadow in front of him with reverence. Previously, the flower fairy had refused to form a marriage alliance with other factions. He also planned to let it go. He didn't expect that a fierce person would suddenly appear in the past few days, claiming to be from the legendary human realm upon heavens. He really didn't care if this person was the palace master of the flower fairy palace who came from the human realm upon heavens. What he was concerned about was that the other party was strong and his pill refinement technique was even more divine. Just by casually giving them a few medicinal pills, their cultivation would rise. The other party's condition for providing them with pills was very simple. He wanted the flower fairy to get in touch with Xiao Changtian. The flower fairy heard the words of the Hua Celestial Palace Lord and shouted coldly, "Palace Master sincerely wants me to get in touch with Senior, so I'm naturally very grateful. But if you want me to humiliate Senior, I'm sorry, I really can't do it." The Palace Lord of the Flower Fairy Palace was also a little angry after hearing the Flower Fairy's words. "It's really a waste for the sect to nurture you all these years. If I were a few decades younger, how could I?" Before the Palace Master of Hua Fairy Palace could finish her sentence, she saw the black shadow in front of her raise her arm. She obediently shut her mouth. "All right, why are you talking so much nonsense?" As he spoke, the black shadow waved his hand, and a huge cage appeared in the air. The people locked in the cage were all people more or less related to the flower fairy. "If you don't want them to die, take this pill." As soon as he finished speaking, the black shadow waved his hand and a jade bottle landed in front of the flower fairy. Seeing the person in the cage, the flower fairy and Chuyer were shocked. Before he could say anything, he heard the black shadow's voice continue. "And her?" After the black shadow's voice fell in her ears, Chui Er's figure involuntarily flew towards the cage. "Miss." Chui air. The flower fairy looked at Chuyer in the air and felt helpless. You only need to make a choice. Are you convinced or not? The black shadow's cold voice rang in the flower fairy's ears. The flower fairy struggled for a moment and slowly picked up the jade bottle on the ground. Miss, no, don't. Chuyer was locked in the cage. Her hands grabbed the iron bars of the cage and shook her head at the flower fairy. Looking at the people in the cage, a trace of tears fell from the corner of Fairy Hua's mouth. Then he took the pill that the black shadow had given him. After consuming it, the flower fairy's eyes flashed with a purple light. Very good. The black shadow waved his hand, and the cage beside him disappeared. Then he arrived in front of the flower fairy and slowly said to her, From now on I, Su Tian, am your master. Now, follow my instructions. While the flower fairy was being controlled by Su Tian, a woman slowly stood in the divine world. It was the red-robed woman who had rushed from treasure pill heaven to the divine world. The red-clothed lattice eyes swept across the land below as she muttered, That young man is a peerless expert. It was right for me to give myself to him. It should be there. After repeating the words a few times, the red-robed woman also flew towards the 100,000 mountains where Xiao Changtian was. Chapter 604. Indeed, I can't hide anything from Senior. Box novel. The Holy Spirit fruit does no divine realm. 100,000 mountain lake Xiao Changtian was resting on a rocking chair. However, there was a self-made umbrella above him. It was simply too comfortable. At this moment, the great sun immortal also slowly came to his side. Senior, Miss Lung and the others want to see you. Xiao Changtian stood up from his rocking chair after hearing the words of the great sun immortal. Miss Lung and the others are here. Let's go and meet them. Speaking of which, he was able to complete the missions given by the system these few times. It was all thanks to the information given to him by the cold maidens. Otherwise, he might not be able to complete anything by relying on a salted fish like himself. Therefore, when Xiao Changtian heard that Ling Xiaoxiao and the others had arrived, he also wanted to entertain them. Soon, Xiao Changtian saw Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei who were coming towards him. Leng Xiaoxiao came to Xiao Changshen's side and handed him the basket in her hand. Senior, this is the Holy Spirit fruit we just picked. I hope you like it. Seeing Leng Xiaoxiao handing him the basket, Xiao Changtian smiled at them and said, Miss Leng, just come. Why are you so polite? This is a walnut? Xiao Changtian saw the things in the basket and blurted out. Walnut? What walnuts? Senior, this is the Holy Spirit fruit. Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Leng Mei also went over at this time. He pointed at the fruits in the basket and said to Xiao Changtian, What, does Senior like walnuts? Although she had never heard of walnuts, Leng Mei asked Xiao Changtian with a smile. I like it. Walnuts are good. They nourish the brain. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also pointed at Leng Xiaoxiao and said with a smile. Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Leng Xiaoxiao and Leng Mei looked at each other. As expected, I can't hide anything from Senior. This Holy Spirit fruit really has such an effect. While speaking, Leng Mei also imitated Xiao Changtian and pointed at his own head. The Holy Spirit fruit was a product of the spirit race, so its greatest effect was naturally to nourish the soul. Seeing Leng Mei's appearance, Xiao Changtian also smiled foolishly. How could he not know this? In his previous life, in order to let knowledge know him, he had to learn to understand him. He had eaten countless walnuts. The result was that I was still me, and knowledge was still knowledge. He might know me, but I definitely didn't know him. However, in the cultivation world, walnuts had a different name. They were called Holy Spirit fruits. Then, under Xiao Changshen's lead, Leng Xiaoxiao and the others also came to the main hall. Sitting beside Leng Xiaoxiao and the others, Xiao Changtian said to them, I have to thank the two ladies for providing me with so much information. Hearing Xiao Changshen's words, Leng Xiaoxiao also looked flattered. They had come today mainly to thank Xiao Changtian for saving their spiritual race, especially when Zhuo Luyun attacked the spirit race. If Xiao Changtian didn't arrive in time, the spirit race might have ceased to exist. Leng Xiaoxiao quickly said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, you must be joking. With your ability, it would definitely be easy for you to get that information. We should thank Senior instead. Hearing Leng Xiaoxiao's words, Xiao Changshan's mouth twitched. Miss Leng, you must be joking. If he could really get this easily, he wouldn't have come to this poor village. However, Miss Leng's mouth knew how to speak. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Leng Xiaoxiao knew that Xiao Changtian was cultivating his heart in the mortal world, so she didn't say anything. Then he slowly said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, when we came here, we saw that the small town outside was holding a poetry competition. I wonder if Senior is interested in participating? Leng Xiaoxiao had also paid attention when she arrived. The small town outside the 100,000 Mountains was holding a poetry competition. Most of the participants were mortals, so they thought that it might help Xiao Changshan's cultivation. Leng Xiaoxiao also brought it up. Hearing Leng Xiaoxiao's words, Xiao Changtian pondered for a while and then said to Leng Xiaoxiao and the others, well, in that case, let's go over and take a look. He did not want to do the mission given by the system for the time being. Since he had nothing to do on the island and someone wanted to invite him, he might as well go and take a look. At the same time, outside the 100,000 Mountains, the woman in red slowly landed on a mountain peak and looked at the 100,000 mountains in front of her. He clenched his fists tightly, clearly still feeling a little nervous. Hongyi, you can do it. That young man is a peerless expert. It's not a loss to be with him. As Hongyi spoke, a black shadow slowly walked out from the surroundings. It was Su Tian, who had controlled the flower fairy earlier. After Su Tian walked out, he slowly said to the woman in red, Miss, this subordinate has been waiting here for a long time. Hearing a voice behind her, the red-clothed woman turned around abruptly. Su Tian, why are you here? Wasn't this person in front of him his grandfather's bodyguard? When Su Tian heard the woman in red's words, he slowly said to her, Lord Dan asked this subordinate to come here to wait for Miss. This is what Lord gave to Miss. Please take a look. As he spoke, Su Tian also handed a red invitation card to the red-robed woman. The red-clothed woman took it from Su Tian's hands. After flipping it open and examining it, she muttered to herself, Poetry competition. After keeping the red invitation, the red-clothed lady slowly said to Su Tian, Grandfather, do you have any other instructions? Lord Dan said that Miss only needs to act according to the plan. Su Tian slowly replied after hearing the woman in red's words. The red-robed woman's face turned red as she waved her hand at Su Tian. All right, I got it. Su Tian's figure slowly disappeared from her sight after the red-clothed woman finished speaking. Then, the woman in red turned into a stream of light and slowly flew toward the small town outside the 100,000 Mountains. At the same time, in the small town outside the 100,000 Mountains at this moment, there were already lanterns and streamers around the unique stream in the town. Do you know that the Flower Fairy is going to hold a poetry competition? This is a rare blessing competition. Hurry up. When the mortals and cultivators in the town heard that the Flower Fairy was going to hold a poetry meeting, they were all excited. After all, those who lived here were either cultivators with low cultivation or mortals. They had to endure the harassment of the ferocious beasts in the 100,000 Mountains all year round. They were very excited about these prayer meetings, poetry meetings, and so on. Perhaps he would be lucky enough to have an expert to protect him and live a few more years here. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.